Good people. It's your boy Theo Dorsey, and let me tell you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Think Justin Jefferson will get more than 83.5 yards next week? How about Lamar Jackson? More than 1.5 touchdowns. Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code THEOD to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code THEOD and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Let's be honest. If your performance in the bedroom feels more like, uh-oh, than whoa, you're not alone. But don't worry, we've got just the thing for you. Hexus MD's new Performance Blend. No awkward doctor visits, no prescriptions or crazy side effects, just a powerful, easy-to-use pill that gets you back in the game. Hexus MD's new Performance Blend works in just 15 minutes, and it's stronger than the competition. Use discount code ESPN50 for 50% off your first order. Don't wait. Visit HEXISMD.com.
The Construction Reduction Sales Event is going on right now at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Greenway Kia is under construction and we need to move the 24s off the lot so the new 2025s at the port can be delivered. So, we're making deals that other dealers won't. New 2024 Kia Fortes are only $149 per month. Make no payments until next year. Plus, we want your trade. Get up to $6,000 over Kelley Blue Book fair market value for any trade. If you have a job bringing home $350 per week, we want to approve your credit. It's the season of new traditions only at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Call 800-NEW-KIAs or visit online at greenwaykiawestpalmbeach.com.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
Qualified applicants through KFA, 24-month lease, $34.99 due at signing, 10,000 miles per year, 0 security deposit required, plus tax tag and $9.99 admin fee. Negative equity refinanced. 90 days deferred payments. Interest accrues from date of purchase. Discount includes all factory rebates to dealer. Offers don't combine. Expires 12/30/24.
Maximize your 2025 spring training at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium with a spring training mini plan. Pick up your 4-game Marlins mini plans, 4-game Cardinals mini plans, or 6-game mini plans for both the Marlins and the Cardinal games. Mini plan buyers get up to 10 tickets per game and get early access to marquee games like Cardinals Yankees on March 9th or Marlins Red Sox on March 14th. RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-731-4558 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-731-4558 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-731-4558 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at kaisergolfcenter.com. ESPNWestPalm.
ESPN West Palm and Humana are proud to recognize military veterans within our local community. Our Veteran of the Month is Captain Ronald Williams. Captain Williams served 28 years in the United States Navy. His service was nothing short of extraordinary, with leadership that earned him numerous awards, including meritorious service medals. He also received multiple Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medals and the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal. Now, as Chief of Staff at the West Palm Beach Veterans Affairs Healthcare System, Captain Williams continues his commitment to serving his fellow veterans. A football fan and passionate supporter of the New York Giants, Captain Williams remembers their 2008 Super Bowl victory when his favorite athlete, Eli Manning, led the game-winning drive. Captain Ronald Williams is the Veteran of the Month, presented by ESPN West Palm and Humana.
Florida Atlantic women's basketball season is here. Join head coach Jennifer Sullivan and star guards Maya Perry and Jada Moore at Eleanor R. Baldwin Arena this year for big-time college basketball action. Groups of 15 or more get in free. Single game tickets just $10. The band, the cheerleaders, the fun, the action, it's all there with Florida Atlantic women's basketball. Visit FAUsports.com for more information. Florida Atlantic Owls, winning in paradise.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a Friday edition of Russo and Rizzo, an extended edition of Russo and Rizzo. December the 6th, in the thick of December now, having a good time. Good Thursday night football to talk about. Packed weekend ahead of us, including conference championships on the college side of things. Lions do what the Lions do. They escaped yesterday at Ford Field against the Packers. Whole lot of fun to be had. Got you till 6 p.m. today. No Theo Dorsey on Theoretically Speaking. He is out of commission. So why not? We'll expand a little bit. We still got Christian Cat, of course, as always, behind the glass. We got Mike Rizzo and Colin Russo here at the State of Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Good game last night. Good Friday. Vibes are high. Everybody's having a good time. Good weather. There's not a lot to complain about right now.
No, not at all. And anytime Russo and Rizzo gets an extra hour, Colin, I'm fired up. So it was funny.
Hit the candy store.
Open up the curtain a little bit. Kyle comes up to me and she goes, Mike, dude, would you be open for doing an extra hour? I said, brother, anytime we could get more airtime, I am in favor of. So I want to thank the powers above, the great Stephanie Prince, the Brian Rowitzes of the world. A little extra hour, Russo Rizzo. I know C-Cat's thrilled, our reluctant producer back there. What do we do with C-Cat, by the way? Do we let him talk?
2.5 hours, no talking.
He called me, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say what you called me on the air before the show. Are we allowed to say that?
What, a Neanderthal?
There you go.
Yeah, you can say that. They say that in SpongeBob, I think.
Colin, what's a Neanderthal, by the way?
Called you a Neanderthal?
What is that?
It's the less evolved form of human.
Like a caveman.
Yeah, the caveman. It's like one step back.
So
it's a step or two above an ape, and then it's a step back from where we are now.
So he was referring that I am, as the Italians call it, a stupido. I'm a stupido. Okay, all right. Maybe we don't let him talk till the 5 o'clock hour.
Why did he call you a Neanderthal?
Because I asked what the password to the computer was, and I astutely saw the note that our director of operations, Dave Drudo, left under the computer in case you need to type in the password, which had the password.
We're supposed to hear from Todd Fleming, the executive director of the Cognizant Classic. He was supposed to be here joining us now.
You know what?
But I guess we're on celebrity time, so I guess when he strolls in, the meeting starts.
Here's the thing, Colin. Here's the thing.
We're going to let him have it when he comes in.
He's got the blue flu. I got the blue flu, too, after that Ohio. So, Fleming's a huge Ohio State guy like myself. I think he has the blue flu because we're still struggling from that loss, partner. We're still reeling it.
You got to,
still reeling.
He's
wide
still
open
showing
weekend.
up.
Wide open weekend for Buckeye fans.
Oh, God.
Are you going to Indianapolis?
A Penn State fan.
Yeah, I am flying to the Big Ten championship game in Indy. My flight's at 8:57 tomorrow morning.
You coming back the Sunday morning?
I'm coming back Sunday right after midnight.
Jeez, oh man, dude.
So Sunday midnight, as in Sunday or Monday?
2 a.m. Monday. So yeah, I'll be at work on Monday.
Why 2 a.m. Monday? Was that just the best flight, the cheapest flight?
Yeah.
That's a
Just hang out in Indianapolis by myself for a Sunday.
Good walking city. I'll give you some things to do. You could go check out the Butler Stadium. They got a good little mall. There's a
Butler's in Indiana? I didn't know that. Like the university?
Yeah.
Why don't they have a game on Sunday?
It's in Indianapolis. That's a good question. They might have a game, so you should go check that out.
yeah,
Great idea.
Caitlin Clark goes to those games.
There's a famous steakhouse
Yeah,
called St. Elmo's. And I'm not saying you probably wouldn't be able to get a reservation on a weekend like this.
For one, please.
Let's put it this way.
Maybe go sit at the bar and see what they got. But it's a great spot.
To Colin's point, it's where all the media goes. Like when I used to work for ESPN Cleveland, Tony Grossi, who covers the Browns, when he would go to the combine, he would always go there.
There's one spot in Indianapolis, and it's St. Elmo's. That's where everybody, like, I remember I was there for Big Ten Media Day, and all the coaches go there after, like, together. So it's like a whole thing.
It's a who's who when you go in there.
It's worthy of checking out. It's a nice little street they got. It's a walkable city, very underrated walkable city.
I told Christian, there's great food in Indianapolis. Everyone's like, oh, you're going to have nothing to do. Dude, Indianapolis is a great Midwestern city, honest to God. Now, it's going to be freezing. All right, it's going to be freezing. Be prepared for that. But
they got like a Peyton Manning statue, and then they got a couple other statues. So go look at the statues for a couple hours and have a good time.
Since I am only there for one night, I considered flying with no luggage. No personal item, no carry-on, no checked bag. Walking in with just the clothes that I have on.
For fun?
Yeah. And also for necessity, so I can Uber straight from the airport to downtown, get to drinking, and do whatever, rather than have to go.
Do you have a hotel room?
Got an Airbnb I'm sharing with some buddies.
Brother, bring a backpack, go to the Airbnb, take a shower, and go out. What are we doing here?
Hold on, you land at like 10 a.m., and your reasoning is that you want to go straight to the bar?
I land at noon.
You're not even going to be, when are you going to be able to check into your Airbnb? That's not going to be till later. What time's the game?
Well,
the game's 7. Wait, is that Central Time? I believe
no, it's not.
It's Eastern Time. It's on the edge.
Eastern.
It's on the
Correct.
edge.
It's Eastern.
Because it's about an hour eastward of South Bend, which is on the line.
We have the Airbnb for Friday night and Saturday. I just can't get there until Saturday morning because they're driving from their jobs across the state into Indianapolis. So they're going to be my friends at the Airbnb will have it the night before.
No. Never mind. Okay, so you're set.
Christian, pack a bag.
Wouldn't you
Pack
ever
a bag.
imagine just flying
What
with
time
nothing?
do you land? What time do you land?
Brother, you can.
At noon.
Let's put it this way, all right?
Realistically, are your college buddies going to be up and at 'em, like, getting ready to, hit the road, hit the town at noon?
Well, you got to rush to drink more, right?
Can I make a suggestion? So
They have a word for this.
See, Kat, this is what you do. This is what you do. You got to, you got your certified edition Good Karma backpack. Dude, put an extra pair of skinnies in there, put an extra pair of socks, put some pajamas in there, and
pajamas. You don't need pajamas.
Yeah, you do. You need a big T-shirt to sleep in.
You don't
I get harassed if I show up in my jams with all my college buddies.
What do you mean your jams?
You never hear the end of it. I agree with this 100%.
Guys. My pajamas is a big T-shirt and some skinnies. All right, this isn't me jumping into my Sesame Street Elmo onesie. Okay.
You just need to bring an extra pair of underwear.
Bring underwear, socks, a change of clothes for the airport. Bring a backpack. You can throw it under the flight, and you're all good. Bring your Switch, your Game Boy, whatever you want to do on the flight, and you're good to go.
It might just be a mic thing, but I don't know. Do you have a Switch or Game Boy you're going to bring on the flight?
No, I don't need
DS
to bring
Lite,
it with
3DS.
Me. People don't have that. I don't think.
People don't travel with their whole compartment of Pokemon in their book bag? Okay, that's just me.
I'm going to show up with no bag, no backpack, no nothing, and just 2 layers of clothes. The first, after I wear it, the first layer, I will throw it in the garbage. And then I will wear the second layer that's on top, that's not touching my body.
Remember you had stinky feet the last time you was at an airport too? Brother, we
Well, because you commuted back from Greece, and you went from Greece to somewhere else to Miami, and then you went right from the airport in your Hawaiian shirt and sandals.
Yeah.
And you came right to work, and I don't know who the intern was with you that day, but there was somebody. It might have been Ashley. There might have been somebody in with you, and you were just stinking up. It was a chamber of just body odor.
Listen, I washed my feet in the Miami airport while waiting for my luggage.
You should be arrested for that. Honest to God.
It's got to be a felony in some states. Maybe not Florida, but in some states.
Let them air out in the flip-flops and the drive up. I think I did my due diligence.
Dude, I would if I saw that, I would contact a security guard. I am not like a big if there's something that doesn't really concern me, I'm pretty good about just whatever. That's not my business.
So let me get this straight.
If I saw that, I'd contact
It was just C-Cat with a paper towel, one of his foot. They had a big old foot in a sink and trying to wash it while standing on one leg.
Yeah.
Imagine walking in it.
Were you hopping?
How's it going, bud?
Yeah, it was a pretty tall sink, so it was difficult. But listen, there were sinks for everybody. I wasn't
people
hogging up
see
the one sink. There were like 6 sinks.
People saw you doing this?
Yes, they walked in on me.
Did anyone say anything? No one said anything?
No, because they were polite travelers, and I appreciate it.
This is a see something, say something moment. Yeah, airports have this everywhere. This is a see something.
Trust me, I get it, but that would have stuck out to you. I would have texted my buddies like, guys, some freak was washing his feet.
They have a special section in Guantanamo Bay. It's the guys who wash their feet in the airport bathrooms, and I would be the solo person in those
under the jail. Unbelievable.
Hey, there's Fleming.
Oh, nice
there
of him
he
to
is.
join
There
us.
he is.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Todd Fleming, of course, the executive
Someone
director.
let him in. Someone in the back let him in.
Oh, my goodness.
Good.
Unbelievable.
Courtney got him.
We were supposed to be joined by the executive director of the Cognizant Classic of the Palm Beaches right here in South Florida.
I think we have a guest, too, Colin.
I mean, he's bringing friends. He's got the whole thing. I mean, I didn't realize this is a whole thing. We were supposed to be joined by Todd Fleming, and I guess Todd will join us whenever he deems fit, despite the fact that we have a radio program that we have to stick to a schedule.
Correct.
That does not apply to the executive director of the Palm Beaches, Todd Fleming. So not on schedule, not on top of his game. We're going to have to give him a couple knocks for that, a couple downloads, going downward on the leaderboard for Todd Fleming. But in the meantime, you're going to Indianapolis this weekend. Grab a seat, Todd. Grab a seat. Put the headset on. Get your stuff together. We're on Todd Fleming time as we welcome him into the program. C-Cat's going to Indianapolis this weekend. He's going to the Big Ten Championship. First of all, Mr. Fleming, Todd Fleming, of course, the executive director of the Cognizant Classic at the Palm Beach, is joining us now.
Guys?
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm upright. That's the best way to put it right now. Running a little crazy today, so sorry for being late.
Oh, all good, dude. And Todd, I told Colin you had the blue flu. You know, that's what I've had. I've had the blue flu since Saturday at about 4 p.m.
Well, you call it blue. I call it day flu.
Oh.
I mean, we haven't had a chance to catch up on this, and I'm not sure this is the platform for me to vent and get my emotions out. But
how'd you watch the game? What was where were you?
So I have a little tradition: is when the game gets tight, I go outside and watch it through the window. Right, so I was standing outside.
How's that working for you?
The last several years. Well, for every other game that gets tight, we figure out a way to pull it out. The blue game, not so well. I went and took a long walk.
You're a walker after a tough walk.
Well, I'm old now, right?
Yeah,
I'm getting older, right?
To Todd's point, Colin, I was standing up from second quarter till the end of the game. Even at halftime,
what point in the game did you realize we're not going to win this one?
After the opening series when we settled for a field goal and not a touchdown.
Wow.
That's when I got
You're
really...
a bit of a doomsdayer with Ohio State.
He's worse than me. He's worse than me, honestly.
I actually am.
Todd, when I said we weren't going to win was when we went 3 and out after Sawyer got the pick. I knew we were done. You were punting the ball back to them on Ohio State's own 40 with 6 minutes to go in the game. What did Michigan do all game? Held the ball 4 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards on the ground during the clock, and that Zavada was good from 70. That guy could hit 80-yard field goal.
That guy's a pro kicker. That guy's good.
Oh, he's
a good player.
going to be.
They could have lined up from the opposite 20 and made a field goal that game with that guy.
So, but look, in the opening series, we settled for 3. I started to get worried. I go mute. Then as the game proceeded to go on, and we don't make an adjustment, they were running a nickel set of defense the entire game, and we tried to run dives the entire time. So I went outside probably the start of the fourth quarter and paced for a little bit, and then after we had to punt, I started my walk.
Yeah, it was over. We knew it was. Every Buckeye fan in that stadium knew it was over. And from when the Buckeye people were like, they're getting the ball back with 40 seconds. I said, have you seen our last 4 drives? Have you seen this offense the last 4 times they had the ball?
By the look of it, they're not gonna lose a home game.
Oh, please. They're
Oh,
that
God,
team's
here
done.
we go.
No, but they're not gonna lose. No, I'm saying in the college football playoff, they're gonna have a home game.
It doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters. Well, look. All
right, so let's hold on. Let's break. I don't want to do Ohio State for 25 minutes.
If we win it, awesome, great. Back on the bandwagon. Love the university. Still not our coach.
But who are we getting? We did this. We did a whole day of this. Todd, my thing
Meyer's
is,
not coming back.
You know, I am not Ryan Day guy. I need someone lined up before I can Day.
Matt Campbell from Iowa State. Toledo. He's an Ohio guy. He's 46 years old, a 3-time Big 12 Coach of the Year. He's been there for 7 years.
No, I got to find out.
The coach is on the staff.
No, Todd knows this like I do. In Toledo, there are
Heartline.
Go.
In Toledo, there are a lot of Michigan fans up there. That guy might have grew up rooting for the blue. So.
I mean, until the check clears, I think he'll be Ohio State pretty quick.
But what I'm saying is there are some phonies up there in Toledo that root for the Detroit teams and Michigan.
Well, the other name that would be really interesting, I don't think we have a shot at him, but I think it would be really interesting is Vrabel.
Yeah, he's going to get an NFL look. He's going to get an NFL look.
But he's going to get NFL money at Ohio State.
While we speak of an NFL coach making his rounds in the college side, have you seen this Belichick news? He met with UNC twice. He met with them in Manhattan as well with the big executives of the university, and there's a bunch of theories about this. What is your reaction to Bill Belichick, UNC, which is a good job? That is a very underrated job in college football.
I do not disagree because they're very well funded, beautiful university, massive,
high academic,
in the heart of a lot of football talent too, right? Because they'll be able to pull anybody from anywhere. It's Belichick. I looked at it as, and my takeaway is, he's just setting the table and he's letting the NFL teams know I'm open for business.
You think so?
I do. I mean,
does he need to do that?
He's so close to breaking the all-time wins record in the NFL.
15 wins away, yeah.
Why would you go into college and waste a few years, right? Well, I shouldn't say waste a few years. Or make that decision. They don't count towards your wins record.
Yep.
He'll be in an NFL sideline next year.
I told Colin yesterday, I thought it was smoke and mirrors. I think it was more or less to up the, hey, you better start interviewing me now because I have other options.
Well, it's the other thing.
This was a flex move to be like, hey, I don't need you, you know?
Well, I look at it as a flex move to say, hey, people like me, right? Because he's got this persona that he's not likable, he's not easy to work with.
This media year he's had has been trying to make himself a little bit more likable.
Well, and that's a little bit of this too, is, hey, college, the boosters like me, people like me. I look at it as smoke and mirrors.
Some people are, I guess, theorizing that this has a lot to do with his son, Steve Belichick, who's the Washington defensive coordinator, University of Washington. Okay. And whether he wanted to take that job or like set him up for a position there or something like that. There was also theorizing about that. Who knows? Who are we to theorize?
Nepotism exists, but I'm not sure.
We know.
But I'm not sure. I'm not sure he's going to go to Chapel Hill just for his kid. He wants the wins record. He's
15 wins away. But you brought up an interesting point there with the wins record and the best coaching jobs in the NFL. Let's get to this because I want to do a little Who Missed the Cut presented by the Cognizant Classic.
Go.
Oh, my goodness.
This is not good.
It's beyond hard to watch.
4 will enter. 3 will survive. It's time for Who Missed the Cut? Presented by the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches, February 27th through March 2nd.
So, of course, the Cognizant Classic of the Palm Beaches coming up in late February. We've got the executive director himself, Todd Fleming, joining us now. If you want to get involved and go check out the Cognizant Classic, Todd, where's the best place to go for that?
Yeah, you visit our site, thecognizantclassic.com. Everything's on sale. Everything's there that you need. We need your support come 2025.
It's going to be an outstanding event, so I'm very much looking forward to that. And, of course, a couple big weeks ahead on that sense. In the meantime, Who Missed the Cut? I got 4 options for you, and, Mike, you haven't seen this as well. 4 options, and it's about coaching jobs. Okay. Who's going to miss the cut in terms of a coach job, how desirable it is, all right? I'm going to give you 4, and you're going to tell me which one you don't want to deal with, all right?
Yep.
Doesn't matter who you are as a coach, but I'm going to give you 4. Let's assume that Zach Taylor gets fired, okay? So the Bengal job is open. The Bear job is open. Let's assume that the Cowboys move on from McCarthy. McCarthy's moved on. The Cowboys is open. And I'm going to include this. I don't think this is an easy out. Some you guys might disagree with me. The Jaguar job.
Okay.
Who misses the cut there? Let's talk it out.
I think as we traditionally do this on Fridays, I think it's rotated back around. I think it's my turn to go first. And I think we started one of the original things about who misses the cut on a contract. And I said Trevor Lawrence misses. It was the bad deal for the Jaguars.
Okay.
I don't want to deal with the Jaguars' job. I think you've got a quarterback that has proven consistently that he's not good, can't lead you to victories. It's a smaller market. Sorry for our friends up north. Smaller market, so it's not going to be attractive enough, I think, for free agency outside of state income tax. I think Jacksonville is the one that's off the table.
Now, they're going to have a general manager job likely open, too. Sometimes it means a big deal in terms of you don't have to deal with the umbrella. But, okay, so you're out on the Jaguar job. What about you, Mike?
And Todd, I apologize for this because he's a big Cowboy fan. I don't want to deal with Jerry Jones. So that's why I'm out and I'm cutting the Cowboys off of this list. And you're going to have to believe in Dak Prescott, too. You said you're not a Lawrence believer. Yeah. I'm not a Prescott believer.
No.
And Colin got on my case about this early on in the year. He goes, Riz, you say the Cowboys are a championship-level roster, but you don't like Dak Prescott. Makes sense of that for me. I hear Colin, and I hear a lot of Cowboy fans that like Dak, but for those two reasons, Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones, I'm out on the Cowboy job.
No, I think it's fair. I think it's fair commentary. Sorry. I think it's fair commentary. The caveat to that is the potential of what happens and how your name echoes in eternity if you win as a Dallas Cowboy.
It's an illustrious position. It's a high ceiling position.
And Todd,
Correct.
I love and listen, I know the defense can be inconsistent, but I think they have great playmakers when healthy, able to turn the tide of a game, get a turnover, get a pick six, get a sack with Micah Parsons. Who's that Bland with all those pick sixes last year? I know he spent time hurt this year. So I like a lot of the pieces on the team. I just nonetheless don't believe in the owner, and I know Jerry's been great. 5 championships speaks for itself, one of the best owners in NFL history. I just think time has passed it, and I also am not a believer in Dak. So for that reason, Cowboys, Colin.
Now, leaning on the side of Cowboys as well, just for the same reason. Jerry Jones is 82 years old. Let's call it like we see it. And no 82-year-old should be a general manager, in my opinion, in the NFL for a multitude of reasons. I think Jerry's a little nearsighted for obvious reasons. He's old. He's nearsighted. He wants to win now. He wants to win today. You got to think, not in the sense of 1 year, but how does the 3 years look?
Right. Yeah,
and I don't know if Jerry really thinks like that.
And we gotta realize the contracts too. Like, are those contracts going to age well? I love CeeDee Lamb. But is that going to age well? Is he going to be able to play to that level 3 years?
You got to think of lore, too. That's a popular job.
Todd, Colin and I have the conversation about wide receivers all the time. Let them ride out their 4 years, 5 years, and then go draft another one.
Right.
So you pay the really good ones, but at the same time, sometimes really good ones are good for a while. So I think you got to keep an eye on some of those contracts that Jerry Jones has signed and keep an eye on Dak Prescott. So for that reason, I feel like I'm in Shark Tank. For that reason, I'm out.
Now, can I sell you a little bit on the Jaguar job?
Yes, please. Try to.
No.
Loyal owner.
You can't.
Loyal owner. Good draft capital. They're going to have the number 1, number 2, number 3, and they don't have to draft a quarterback. They're going to have likely a general manager spot open.
A Super Bowl winning coach failed there, Todd. The Silver Fox, Doug Peterson, failed.
Well, he also failed. I mean, like, he won in Philadelphia, but he was also forced out of Philadelphia as well. So there's that. But I'm just saying, it's a loyal owner. You're going to get a long leash. You got nothing. You got no expectations, what some people like.
Yeah.
You got a roster. I agree. A lot of it relies on unlocking Lawrence, and who knows with the coaching staff. Dealing with Urban Meyer, and then Peterson and him have a disconnect. The whole thing.
Right. Urban.
I forgot her.
Urban
was there for what, 12
games?
Dude, we did a whole bit with Urban.
Doesn't even come back on the team plane after the Cincinnati game.
Guys, my personal favorite was him calling his assistant coaches and kicker a loser. And it became a whole bit when I was a radio show host in Peoria.
Is
Hysterical stuff.
Is that Bengal job that great?
Yes, it is, because you get 3 years of Burrow. I mean, if they don't start protecting him, then we're only going to have 3 years. But you get 3 years with Burrow.
And they're in a similar situation where they have to pay Chase. They're going to have to pay Higgins if they want to keep him around.
Well, I think Higgins is leaving.
And something Colin brings up is that defense is a nightmare.
Yeah.
And my old man always says, Mike, like clockwork, the offense, the Bengals draft offense. They always draft offense. It's no coincidence that defense is a nightmare to me.
Yeah, it's a tricky spot because they're a bit one hand behind the back. Because financially, you're incentivized to 2 players on the offense that are going to be making half the salary cap.
You guys know they still practice outdoors, right? They don't have a dome. They don't have a bubble.
Well, it's a cheap owner.
Cheap owner. And listen, I like to give the Browns the benefit of the doubt because I'm a huge Paul Brown guy, being from where I'm from. Yeah. But some pretty Bush League stuff over there.
Yeah, it's not for them to have the success that they've had. Right, the cards have fell their way from a draft standpoint. So, but you get a chance to maximize that over the next couple years. So I think it's one of the more appealing jobs on the
because of Burrow.
Because of Burrow.
Todd Fleming, the executive director of the Cognizant Classic of the Palm Beach, is joining us now on Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. You're a Cowboy guy. You know the Cowboys. Now, one thing about that is this a job that's going to be reliant on them kind of having a marriage with Jerry Jones? Is Jerry Jones eventually going to step back in your eyes? Where does that lie here? Is he going to get somebody that could be another Jerry Jones puppet and make sure that you abide within his rules? Or are they going to stick with McCarthy?
No, well, they shouldn't stick with McCarthy. I have no idea what he's going to plan on doing, but I think it's pretty clear that you're not going to win with him at the helm. So, but I think your point's correct. Like, no matter what Jerry's never going to step away, right? I mean, it's his team. He owns it. He's in control of it, and he's gonna be involved with it. It's going to be a marriage that's going to have to work with the coach. That's why, again, like another like Vrabel may work. Guy that just wants to be about football, is not going to worry about kind of front office. Will allow the owner to have his say, have the GM have his say, go coach the team. But it's going to be a really, really difficult place to go and win because mediocrity has become a little bit of the atmosphere that's accepted.
Can you tell Todd quickly? Can you tell Todd's a Buckeye fan with the Vrabel? Okay, Vrabel is going to go coach his Cowboys.
Well, but again, I mean, Vrabel was what, 2-time NFL Coach of the Year. I mean, like he's proven. I mean, he's won
Would you accept
3 Super
Belichick?
Bowls. I would accept.
Yesterday.
I would accept Belichick in Dallas. I would, as a fan. I think that gives me all the hope in the entire world.
That's 1A.
That's 1A in my mind. I don't know if Belichick would want that because Belichick's going to want control. But again, it goes back to our point. If Belichick gets 15 wins and breaks it as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, that's his story. It's monumental.
Let me say this: if there's one person I think that would be able to get in Jerry Jones's ear, Bill Belichick.
Well, who was his predecessor that had a pretty good, decent run at the Cowboys for multi-year and dealt with a younger, more vibrant, more exuberant Jerry Parcells.
Yeah.
So Belichick wouldn't. Yeah. Belichick maybe, but eventually all good things are going to run its course in that scenario.
Now, the one thing about Belichick is he's likely a short-term answer. Mm-hmm. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is entirely up to you. But another thing about Belichick is Belichick needs to prove something that he can do something without Brady. And what better place to kind of, I was either going to say the Jets or the Cowboys, and like have the Brady Tampa Bay moment where if you win a couple playoff games, get to a big spot with a win-now-ready team, especially a team that doesn't consistently win, Jets, Cowboys, that would be the legacy thing that I think he needs.
I think Belichick's going back anywhere to the tri-state, and if he's going to go back into New Jersey, he'll go to the Giants route. He's not going back to the Jets. He's not going to play that.
I want to go back to what you said, Colin, of is it a good thing that Belichick's only going to be there for a little bit if he does go to Dallas? I think so. Look at the contracts with Lamb, with Prescott. This is a win-now roster. So I could argue Belichick is the perfect guy for the job for that because he is trying to win now to break the Don Shula record, to get another Super Bowl, and to prove that he's good without Brady.
Well, you know what? I think we may have just solved our own answer here, right? We've talked about 3 of the teams and can't come to a conclusion. We've not talked about the Bears. So is the Bears the one that misses the cut? Because
it depends. Now, let me tell you this. It depends on if you're a Caleb Williams sympathizer.
Ooh, and I am not.
I told Colin yesterday when we were on remote, a coach is going to take that job if they're not all in on Williams. Coaches are going to an offensive coach. What's the thing with the NFL with the coaches right now? It's head coach and play caller.
Right.
If there's a young head coach and play caller that's looking at that job and going, I can't coach that kid, he's not going to take it.
No.
So you got to be a believer in Caleb Williams.
And I'm not. Well, I mean,
are you a believer in Caleb Williams?
I am not right now.
Wow.
I am not. I'm not a believer in him right now.
You don't like any quarterbacks, do you?
He's just classic.
No, give me defense. Give me somebody that's got a good defense. I'm in all day.
Now, the problem with them is, Colin, one offensive route didn't work, one defensive route didn't work. What do they do now?
You know who I think might be a sleeper?
Special teams
I don't
like
think
Harbaugh was.
Ben Johnson is, of course, the 1A candidate outside of everybody, I would say, especially after last night. I mean, as methodical as they get, unbelievable. We'll get into Thursday night a little later.
He likes the small market teams,
but if he doesn't want to deal with that team, it's in division. Maybe he doesn't want to deal with that. If there's a backup that they needed to go and they wanted to go offense, and I assume they will, Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator from the Buffalo Bills. He's a guy who spoke to Burrow. He spoke to Josh Allen at the Buffalo Bills. He's young. He's somebody who's always been talked about. That might be a bit of a high flyer, but I think it might be an option.
To Colin's point, 2019 LSU Tigers called the plays for Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look.
Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, offense was loaded.
I love the debate. I think you guys have swung me. As much as I hate to say it, Dallas has probably got the most issues. is probably the hardest kind of
The
place
most
to come
handcuffs.
into.
It's the most handcuffs.
Well, yeah, because they're under contract. You know, is the money an issue, Colin? How much money do they have to spend?
I love my guys in Dallas. I love you guys. I think we got to go Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. Wow.
It is official. It's official.
The Cowboy man himself, Todd Fleming, is anti-Cowboy.
No, don't say that. No, don't say that.
Put it in the newspaper.
He's
Missed
worse
the
than
cut.
me. I thought I was due.
Todd, you're doing a great job with us. Really quickly, tell us what's new with the Cognizant Classic of the Palm Beach.
Yeah, look, I appreciate the platform. It's good to be able to jump on with you guys. We always have fun out here before I come on with Theo. So we miss you, Theo. But I'm going to talk a little bit of community impact today. I get to do something really, really fun here this evening. Our equipment grant. So we the first awarding of the equipment grant we gave to the Police Athletic League and the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department. Tonight we get to award it again. We're going to give it to the Inner City Youth Golf Association. Nice little event that we're going to do over in Riviera Beach and be able to provide some golf equipment for some of the youth in our marketplace that need it, so that way they can grow the game and grow their interest in the game. So a little bit tonight. The tournament's all about impact, all about making sure that the community understands that we're here for them. And tonight just is another iteration of what we're going to do in regards to how much we mean to this place and how much the community means to us. So talking community today.
I'd love to hear that. That's the man himself right there. The community impact has got to be, that's the best part. That's why you do it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you guys have heard me say this before. I mean, look, we can be on TV, and again, we deliver the tournament in 28 languages on 3 different platforms, ESPN Plus being one of those. But ultimately, we're a local regional event. So our North Star has always been making sure that we're making the right impact here, and tonight's just another example of what we can do when we all lean in together.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to the Cognizant Classic of the Palm Beaches. Of course, that is Todd Fleming, the executive director of the event, joining us now on Russo and Rizzo. We'll take a quick time out on the flip side of things. What happened on Thursday night football? 34-31. Lions win as time expired. Bulletproof. Not sure if I'm there yet, but another situation where the Lions keep going for it on 4th down. Is that to the detriment of the team, or is that to the benefit of the team? Good little question, Todd, really quickly. Detriment or benefit?
Benefit. Default aggression all the time.
All right. Todd wants the aggressive head coach. We'll see what happens then. We'll continue on the conversation. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Good people. It's your boy Theo Dorsey, and let me tell you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Think Justin Jefferson will get more than 83.5 yards next week? How about Lamar Jackson? More than 1.5 touchdowns. Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code THEOD to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code THEOD and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Time now for a PNC pause. PNC Bank is committed to helping the customers and the communities they serve move forward financially. See how they can make a difference for you at PNC.com.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
HSS Florida presents ESPN West Palm's High School Game Day, supported by Smith Ball Baez and Prather. The West Boca Bulls are getting closer to the ultimate goal and will try to punch their ticket to the state championship. Coverage starts at 6 p.m., also presented by Kaiser University, Land Rover Palm Beach, Duffy Sports Grill, Shaw Sports Turf, South Florida Ford, Bud's Chicken and Seafood, and the Boca Raton Bowl.
Hi, this is Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. We are a Florida civil trial law firm that specializes in the areas of personal injury and wrongful death. Our offices are located in Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie. Our lawyers have litigated thousands of matters at the Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River County courthouses. Our lawyers, paralegals, and other numerous members of our legal team live in Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast cities and towns such as West Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie, Lake Worth, Palm Beach Gardens, Palm City, Jupiter, and others just like you and your families. We are a statewide recognized law firm, but it is your community and your families that we live and associate with on a daily basis. Our most satisfying achievement is when we know that our legal power has helped a fellow member of our Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast community secure a fair and just huge result. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Your golf tip of the day is presented by the Club at Lost Lake in Hope Sound. Side spin is never good for a putt. Even the slightest rotation left or right can knock your ball offline by feet. To avoid slicing your putt, draw a straight line all the way around your golf ball. Place the ball on the green with the line pointing directly at the hole for a relatively straight putt. When putting, use a smooth pendulum stroke. Hit the ball so that the line rolls end over end. If the line wobbles, side spin is affecting your putt. A great way to practice is with the push drill. Place the putter directly behind the ball and push it straight toward the hole, focusing on a smooth roll. Once you master this, gradually add your backswing to perfect your stroke. A ball that starts online tends to stay online, so take the time to align your shot carefully. Trust the process, and with practice, your consistency will improve dramatically. Remember, every detail matters when it comes to precision. For more on memberships, visit theclubatlostlake.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GARAGE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GARAGE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GARAGE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Banyan Printing and Signs wishes you a happy and healthy holiday season. Thank you for making Banyan your trusted printing, mailing, and signage partner in the Palm Beaches for over 47 years. From A-frames to yard signs, business cards to booklets, and much more, plus a big announcement coming in 2025. Get started at banyanonline.com or by calling 561-586-6220. Happy holidays from Banyan Printing and Signs, the official printing partner of ESPN West Palm and Kaiser Athletics.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Rolling on here on a end of the week edition, Friday edition that is, of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. We're live at the City Place Studios in West Palm Beach. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, of course, Christian Cat helping us out as always behind the glass. We just heard from Todd Fleming, the executive director of the Cognizant Classic of the Palm Beaches. If you missed any of that, go to Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts to listen back to the show. We're live. We're streaming. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at ESPN West Palm if you want to see our pretty faces instead of just listening to us on the radio. But let's welcome in another friend of the program, Mr. Jonathan Zaslow of the Zaslow Show 2.0 and the College Football Tour on ESPN Radio. Joining us now, Mr. Zaslow, what is going on? How we doing?
I'm in Atlanta. It's good to see you guys through the video. I landed here a couple hours ago. SEC Championship tomorrow. This is the place to be. Everybody's here, guys. Why aren't you here?
So I don't know if ESPN West Palm has the budget
That's
for
what
this.
I was about to say. Budget issues, I think, was what we ran into.
You have to go a little higher than Mike and I, the foot soldiers, if you want to find an answer to that question. But in the meantime, Atlanta, any feel in terms of how the fans have traveled so far? Give us a rundown.
So I have already gone out to lunch, all right? Had a bunch of Texas fans and Georgia fans at the bar that I was at, all right? That's a good sign because you guys tell me what you think. I'm interested in what the crowd is going to be like here tomorrow because obviously it's going to be majority Georgia. I mean, we're only 90 minutes from Athens, all right? It's going to be a massive Georgia crowd. But I wonder, and this is a case study, right? I wonder how the Texas fan is going to travel because you got to remember that the Texas fan has potentially 3 more neutral site games that they may want to pay for, buy a plane ticket, buy a ticket for the game, hotel. Like, I wonder, do you spend the money and come to the SEC championship when you got several more games in front of you? This is very new.
I expect this to be a home game for Georgia's ass, if I'm being quite honest, like 80-20, 70-30.
So Texas has good fans. So, they got rich fans, too.
Oh, they do. They travel well, but, I mean, brother, it's in their backyard.
This is the first year. This is their first year in the SEC championship game. If you want to flip it on the other side, Georgia's in this game every year. Texas, first time in the SEC championship game. There's a bit of a lure to that they could be crowned first year in that SEC chip. It's a little different than the Big 12. There's that. So I'm very curious. We'll talk to you next week and get a full feel once you actually see what's going on within the stadium. But let's get into that game a little bit. Of course, SEC championship game, both teams in. But this is a game that's very implicating in terms of who gets that bye. What do you really anticipate in terms of what you're seeing in that SEC championship game in Atlanta tomorrow?
Well, I think either Georgia's going to make me look really smart or really stupid. I've been on Georgia's tip all season long. I felt they're the best team in the SEC. I felt they're the best team in the country. They got an opportunity to prove it here. And, of course, this is a rematch to one of the other games that we were at for college football tailgate, which is every Saturday morning, ESPN Eastern Time. Myself, Rashad Jennings, and my girl Amber Wilson rejoins us tomorrow. She's coming back from maternity leave. So
nice.
The whole crew, we got the whole show. We were in Austin for Georgia's, you can make the case, best win of the season, where they really crushed Texas. It was Texas's only loss of the season. Georgia wins that game 30-15. Georgia needed that game so badly, too. They really kind of reminded everybody that they've been the top dog. But here's the thing. If you go back to that game, it was really just a mess for Texas. And Georgia was able to take advantage. Lots of turnovers. Quinn Ewers was terrible. You'll remember they pulled Ewers late in the first half. See if Arch Manning can give them a little bit of a spark. He was just as bad. So Texas, turnovers all over the place. Georgia had short field the whole game. They took advantage of a bunch of field goals. So it's not as if Georgia played great that game. It was that Texas was terrible. I expect both teams to be really good tomorrow afternoon.
Zaz, keeping my Buckeyes out of it because they stink. Oregon, Texas, Penn State, Georgia. You labeled Georgia best team in the country. How similar are all these teams, though, Zaz?
I think they probably are pretty similar. Obviously, if you want to make the case about Oregon, they're undefeated. You want to give them the nod. That's fine. But you look at Georgia and Texas, I'm going to take an experienced Georgia team over this Texas team. I'm not going to give you my pick for the game, actually,
right.
Because everybody knows I make my pick at the end of college football tailgate tomorrow. I'll never do it before. But Georgia is experienced, and you look at Penn State has experience at losing in these big spots. Now, that whole narrative can get flipped on its head, even though Penn State lost to Ohio State. If James Franklin and Penn State can win tomorrow night, then who the heck cares? You're looking at maybe number 1 overall seed Penn State, depending on what happens tomorrow afternoon with the SEC.
I'm under the impression that we don't have a top dog, top of the food chain type of team that we have had in the past, like a Clemson, like an LSU, like a Georgia those 2 years, like an Alabama with the Mac Jones year. I don't know if we have a top of the food chain type of team in the field this year, which I think is a good thing. But ultimately, the committee did have some decisions to make this past week. We talked earlier in the week before it actually came out. But I want to get your thoughts now and circle back. Of course, you're a Miami guy. Miami, outside looking in, effectively eliminated, and Alabama's going to get that nod. From your perspective now, some Miami fans are complaining about it. Some people didn't want the SEC involved. Some people wanted to leave it a little more up to interpretation. What was your reaction to how the committee handled, I guess, the 5 through 12 ranking over the weekend, or over the week?
Obviously, I'm bummed because I wanted Miami in it. But when we're opening it up to a 12-team college football playoff as opposed to a 4-team, the teams that are 4th and 5th, which right now are Notre Dame and Georgia, those are among the elite teams. When we're talking about the 11th team, the 12th team, because 11 is the money spot, 11, 12, and 13, these are very flawed teams. It's like we're mad in the NCAA tournament when you missed the bubble and 64 teams got in ahead of you. There's 64 teams that are allowed, and now there's 12 teams allowed. So, excuse me, if you didn't make it, it's because you made lots of mistakes along the way. Now, I don't agree that they took Alabama ahead of Miami, but Miami has flaws. They lost 2 of their last 3 here, and it's almost like a UFC fight, guys, where if you want to leave it in the hands of the judges, you could get screwed, and that's what happens.
Zaz, how much of the conference championship games are going to have an impact with the college football playoff committee in the top 12, in your opinion?
Say that again. Say the first part. I'm sorry, Mike.
No, it's okay. How much of an impact do you think the conference championship games this weekend are going to have for these teams with the college football playoff committee?
Alabama, I think, is the one who is most interested in these games because I think SMU is getting in no matter what. I think they're an at-large if they don't win.
I agree with that.
But if Clemson wins, Alabama's going to be out as well, not just Miami. So, Clemson, they wind up stealing a bid, just like with the NCAA tournament. So I think the ACC championship maybe has the most on the line tomorrow.
That's the game with the most implications, and I think Clemson's going to play well in that game. The idea that they lost their big rivalry against South Carolina in their own building but stole an opportunity, I think that's going to wake them up a little bit. I could see them being really, really pesky against an SMU team that is looking to prove a lot as well. That game has a lot of implicating factors, I agree.
That's another team, excuse me, guys, that's another team like Georgia who has experience. SMU, Rhett Lashley, how much experience does the coach, do those kids have in this spot? And, of course, first year in a Power 4 conference. I like Clemson a lot in that game tomorrow. I think that game, the domino effect that can come from a potential upset in that game is large.
Absolutely.
And then, Zaz, we've talked about the SEC championship. We've talked about the ACC championship and the Big Ten. Is there the group of 5 championships? I mean, Boise State, UNLV. I think the thing nobody's talking about is what happens if Boise State loses to UNLV, right?
They're out. Yeah. I think it's that simple. If Boise loses, they're out.
Wow.
They're number 10 right now. Yeah. If they wind up losing, you're going to drop at least a couple of spots, especially because now there's a precedent set here. The way the committee in past years treats losers of conference championships. They don't really penalize the underdog when they lose. But if the favorite loses in the conference championship, the history has them dropping 4 to 5 spots on average. So if Boise winds up losing here, they're done, and UNLV is going to take their spot.
Zaz, do you like how you talked about how the committee and how they're ranking teams? Do you like how the committee has policed their top 12? Do you agree with their rankings?
Yeah. I don't have a problem with it. But like I said, I wish it were Miami instead of Alabama.
Right.
I don't understand why Miami dropped so many spots comparative to Ohio State and how many spots they dropped after losing to an unranked team at home. How much Alabama lost after losing to a bad Oklahoma team by 3 touchdowns. Miami loses to number 23 Syracuse by 4 points, and they drop more than both those teams. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But like I said, I think you're yelling at the clouds if you're upset about the 11 to 12 team in the tournament.
The precedent I got, strength of schedule, right?
The impression I got was they cared more about the wins than they did the bad losses.
Yep.
That's the impression I got. Because Alabama's losses are certainly worse than Miami's losses, but Alabama's big wins were Miami's big wins. They cared more about the wins than they did the losses.
And you could even say the same thing for the Buckeyes, even though I'm all mad they lost the game. the 2 top 5 wins with Indiana and with Penn State at the time. So
yeah.
You're 100% right to the point that Miami's losses are very underrated. 2 good teams. Yeah. Georgia Tech had a very tough schedule, and they were at Notre Dame. They were in Dublin earlier in the year. They played Georgia. Yeah. That's a better team than their record indicated. And Syracuse was a team that, outside of that Pitt game, that godforsaken game on a Thursday night, that was a pretty decent team as well. Let's segue a little bit. Heisman. I'm not sure if you have a vote or not, but who is your leader in the clubhouse at the moment?
That would be amazing if I had a vote. I should get a vote. Let's petition. I think Travis Hunter's going to win it. I mean, he is so by far the odds-on favorite. But here's the part that bothers me. Like, I don't love Travis Hunter winning it because, is he the best cornerback in the country? Probably not. Is he the best wide receiver in the country? Definitely not. But because he's above average in both of those and he plays both sides, like, everybody gets crazy. And don't get me wrong, he's a great kid, too.
Yeah.
Super high character.
Zaz,
all right?
You're also plays for the Colorado Buffs, too, Zaz. I think that's a big reason about it, too.
Of course. So that's the issue that I have with it. Dylan Gabriel, number 1 team. He's setting records. Cam Ward, they were in contention for the AFC Championship. He's setting records. And even Ashton Genty. I would not vote for Travis Hunter, but I do not have a vote.
Zaz, I totally agree with you. We had Colin, Christian, and I, or our producer, CCAT, had a great conversation about this. I went Ashton Genty, Cam Ward, and then Travis Hunter in that order. I don't even think it's close.
I don't think there's an argument to be made about Cam Ward winning that Heisman over the likes of Hunter and Genty. I understand the Genty argument. That makes sense. But the idea that the Dylan Gabriel, who's not had as good of a season as Bo Nix did 1 year ago, and or the Cam Ward, who had 2 terrible losses and hadn't had a big win, a complaining win all year.
You just said they're underrated losses.
Underrated
Colin.
losses, but no big wins. I just said big wins.
Fair enough.
I get the love for Travis Hunter. He's not Desmond Howard. Like, he wasn't doing what Desmond Howard was doing, playing both sides. What I'm saying, he wasn't as good at those 2 positions as Desmond was when he was playing multiple positions in one.
Now, Zaz, if they
hold on, yeah, hold on. Nobody has ever done to the lengths of what Travis Hunter has done better. And I understand the Howard argument, but Hunter is a 1A prospect and he's a NFL first-round talent at 2 positions.
So, an NFL team's not going to have him play 2 positions, though.
I think he's probably going to be a corner, and he's going to be utilized in the wide receiver position 10 to 15 snaps a game. Would that be fair?
Maybe. When's the last time we saw that out of an NFL player?
When's the last time we saw anything that Travis Hunter has done? It's the chicken or the egg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, you're right. If he was just a cornerback, didn't play wide receiver, would he be the number 1 overall pick in the draft? Because he's trying toward being the number 1 overall pick.
Oh, if one guy didn't have his right arm, would he just be a lefty? My point is, he does do both.
Zaz,
that's what we have to acknowledge.
Let me ask you this.
Excellent job.
Let me ask you this, Zaz. If he played for South Carolina, is he even in the conversation for the Heisman Trophy? Thank you. Thank you.
So I don't agree with this at all. If he was in South Carolina at an SEC level doing this, despite the fact that there's no other person in the country doing this, doesn't matter if they're Colorado or not, and Colorado, a team that had 0 wins 2 years ago, all of a sudden he is a product of the brand around him and not because of the product of the player?
He'd be invited to New York. Do I think he would be this? He is a massive favorite. You go to ESPN Bet, he is a massive odds-on favorite. Would he be if he played for South Carolina? No, I don't believe so. He'd be invited to New York. He'd be invited.
Well, also, Colorado's handing out gift baskets. I told Coach Prime on air yesterday, if he wants to swing my boat, and Zaz, I told some, I have the ear. I'm not going to say who, but I have the ear of a Heisman wink wink trophy voter.
Oh, okay.
I told him to, $500 Nintendo gift card for my new Switch that comes out in a couple of months. Zaz, they're sending care packages to Heisman voters, trying to sway them into voting.
This is why I can't take it seriously, because that is the basis of Mike's anti-Travis Hunter campaign. Is the fact that they sent care packages after the season is completed.
Michael Scott gift bags.
Hunter has been the favorite since the beginning of the season. And the fact that...
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with the gift baskets. All that stuff is totally kosher now. Nothing wrong with that.
All right.
Come on.
All right. I don't know. It seems a little office to me and Michael Scott.
I don't like it either. But I think that people we're sort of numb to what he is doing. Because I think it's easy to hate Colorado. It's easy to be anti-Colorado, and I'm not somebody who likes Colorado either. I'm not somebody who loves the rah-rah that Deion has tried to put under the program. He knows how to build a brand, and he's a pretty good coach. But I just don't. I think we're numb to the fact that Travis Hunter plays 100 snaps a game at a high level on both sides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, there's a lot to agree with what you just said there. I think that also because we've been on him for 2 years now, maybe some people are a little cold on him at this point because we've been talking about him so much.
I think there's a level of people want to see Colorado and the things around Colorado to fail desperately, and I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, maybe. Although I'm not at that place anymore. Like, I didn't think Colorado was going to be any good this year. I think Deion's done a tremendous job.
Yeah.
I was rooting against them maybe a little bit early on in the season, but now it's like, how do you not love what they've done?
Yeah.
I mean, Shedeur has got all that swag. He does a lot of talking, but that's not a Travis Hunter thing. He seems like a great kid.
Yeah, he seems like a high prospect player. After that Nebraska loss, they became the underdog again. And I think that is where they sort of been able to establish, this team's surprising some people. And then they had that god-awful, terrible loss towards the end of the year. But, Zaz, really quickly, tell us what's going on with Harris.
Okay, listen, Harris, if you're a poker player, Harris Pompano Beach is turning rated poker play into a chance to break the bank for $1 million and a seat at the World Series of Poker Circuit Main Event, January 30th to February 10th. Here's what you got to do. You're going to use your Caesars reward card every time you play at a qualifying table. Once you reach 150 hours, you're then going to qualify to play in the No Limit Hold'em Break the Bank Tournament, January 29th. We're talking $250,000 up for grabs. Tournament prize monies range from $500 all the way to $20,000, all right? Get all the details at Harris Pompano Beach World Series Poker Room, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can follow Harris on social. All the details, all the action is right there. Harris Pompano Beach, Powerline Road at 3rd Street, Pompano Beach with a pump. Must be 18 or older for poker and simulcast. Must be 21 or older to gamble. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Jonathan Zaslow, the Zaslow Show 2.0 and the College Football Tour on ESPN Radio, joining us now from Atlanta, previewing the SEC Championship game, which is going to be tomorrow. But let's shift to the NFL for a second. Thursday Night Football had a great game last night on Prime Video with the Lions taking over the Packers 34-31. Dan Campbell, of course, in the headlines once again for going in every 5 seconds and even burned them on one, going for it on their own 30. Is this a reckless or calculated? We had this conversation a lot, but it burned the Lions, and of course, in that NFC Championship game. Where's your perspective on this and how Campbell kind of handles these conversions late game?
This is who they are, all right? They lost like this in the NFC Championship last year, but it's all-encompassing with Dan Campbell. The team, the coach, they are who they are. They are absolutely a mirror of their head coach. It's a perfect example of taking on the personality of your head coach. And how could you say that he's not doing it the right way when we're talking about one of the worst franchises in all of sports, and they are where they are right now? Yesterday was a legendary coaching performance. We've never seen anything like it. I mean, he's just going for 4th down all over the field. And then, guys, like, what were you thinking? When you had 4th down, there's 43 seconds left. You can kick a field goal, reliable kicker, 38 yards, no big deal, and you got a chance there to win the game. What were you guys thinking? Because I turned to my 15-year-old son. I said to him, I go, are they going to go for it? What were you guys saying to yourself before they made the decision when they were in the middle of the timeout? Did you think that they were going to go for 4th down again?
I was for it. I really was. And
I mean, it's their brand. So, Zaz, it's their brand, right? That's why I'd be for
just how good they played. That Packer defense couldn't stop them all game. They had a 12-play drive. They had a 10-play drive. They were in the middle of an 8-play drive, scoring drives, all in the second half. Go for it. Do not give Love the ball back. That offense is playing well.
Say what you want about Campbell. If you agree with the way he does things or whatever, he's consistent, Zaz.
Yeah.
All right, and I respect. I was going to say I respect someone. I respect someone who hangs on to his laurels like that. Honestly.
Yeah, that's who he is. And what it came down to is, look, you can kick a field goal, and maybe you'll still have to go to overtime with 43 seconds left. Maybe. Or if you could pick up 1 yard, you win the game. And Dan Campbell's like, of course I think I could pick up 1 yard. So I love what he did there. I know Nick Saban said it earlier today on McAfee. I 100% agree, where if you have a chance to end the game with your offense on the field, do it. And that's what they did last night. It was stunning watching it happen because we've never seen these type of decisions consistently made throughout a game. But that's the key, right? They're consistently made by Dan Campbell. I love it. It was a legendary coaching performance last night. We'll never forget it.
Yeah, the way I look at it is you live by the sword, you die by the sword, but the Lions are, got one loss because of it. So off of that, they lost the NFC Championship game. They were up in that game 24-10. So there's a level of
they're living by the sword. They've been living by the sword for two. They're not dying by it. They've been living by it. They were dying for last 30 years before Dan Campbell got there. They're living.
And that's why I respect Campbell so much. You could agree with him. You could disagree with the way he does things, but he is consistent, and he will have his way no matter what. I guarantee you, boys, if similar situations come up, if they're in the NFC Championship game and similar situations come up to the year before, he's going to still go with his gut, and he's going to do what he always does, and that's go for it and take a risk and take a gamble.
Yeah,
At the point where he has asked his team to believe in him. If he doesn't continue to go for these fourth downs, he's not believing in his guys. It's a reciprocation. He has to go for it in those spots because otherwise he is telling his guys, I'm asking you to believe in me even though I don't believe in you. And he's not going to do that.
It's a big invigoration in the locker room as well. Once you play super aggressive like that, it's almost like you're getting your big win already when you're on a giant win streak. There's something in the morality of it all, at least in the morale of the team.
It can be hard to keep focus throughout a long season, but he's maintaining that with this team because they're different. And he has them believing that they are different.
Yeah, and I don't think Dan Campbell should get all the credit. I think Ben Johnson, that offensive coordinator, put on an absolute clinic with how he called those drives, as methodical as it comes.
They're all on the same page. That whole operation is all on the same page.
Yep, great team. Great, really fun, easy to root for.
Now, Zaz, lastly, before we let you go, you're in Atlanta. I'm sure you're getting your steps in, walking around the city, getting a feel. Tell us about Hexus MD.
Oh, well, let me tell you something about Hexus. We know that Hexus keeps us healthy, but let's be honest, all right? Sometimes we need a little bit of help, guys, in the bedroom, all right? And if you're one of those guys that needs a little bit of help, Hexus has just the thing for you. Hexus MD's new Performance Blend. You can think of it like a turbo boost for your engine, guys, all right? You don't have to do any awkward doctor visits, no prescriptions that have crazy side effects, just a powerful, easy-to-use pill gets you right back in the game. Hexus MD's new Performance Blend, it gives you the stamina, the confidence we all deserve. Works in just 15 minutes. So easy. And then you're stronger than all the competition. Visit HexusMD.com. That's HEXISMD.com. Get back to your best self with a little help from Hexus MD.
We'll see if Georgia's stronger than the competition tomorrow in the SEC Championship game. You could hear Jonathan Zaslow, of course, on the college football tour. That will be previewing the game tomorrow. We appreciate you joining us, as always, 2 times in 1 week. Looking forward to speaking again next week when we have a sense of the college football playoff. Great job, as always, Zaz. Appreciate it.
Zaz, my man, have fun in Atlanta, brother.
Thank you. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the games.
Sounds good. That's Jonathan Zaslow joining us, as always. Stronger than the competition, as he says. So I appreciate him taking us. Giving us the time there. We got to get into some Thursday night football game and open up the phone lines. The Baptist Health Hotline, of course, 888-760-3776. Dan Campbell went for it multiple times yesterday in big spots. Got burned on his own 30. They scored because of it. Able to respond. Did it at the end of the game with 43 seconds to go on a 4th and 1 when he could kick the field goal and take the lead. This is what Dan Campbell does. This is the identity that the Lions have created for themselves. But is the definition of insanity doing the same thing and expecting different results? We get into that a little bit next. 888-760-3776. Give us your thoughts on Dan Campbell's coaching ethics. Phone lines are open. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Good people. It's your boy Theo Dorsey, and let me tell you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Think Justin Jefferson will get more than 83.5 yards next week? How about Lamar Jackson? More than 1.5 touchdowns. Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code THEOD to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code THEOD and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
HSS Florida presents ESPN West Palm's High School Game Day, supported by Smith Ball Baez and Prather. The West Boca Bulls are getting closer to the ultimate goal and will try to punch their ticket to the state championship. Coverage starts at 6 p.m., also presented by Kaiser University, Land Rover Palm Beach, Duffy Sports Grill, Shaw Sports Turf, South Florida Ford, Bud's Chicken and Seafood, and the Boca Raton Bowl.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen for the Accident Attorneys, Anajar and Levine. Car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Did you get injured on the job? Workers' comp problems? My friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine, they will fight for you. Remember, they do not get paid unless you get paid, and they will fight to get you the maximum compensation you know you deserve. Here's what you do. You just call. Call Anajar and Levine for your absolutely free consultation. Do not settle for just any attorneys. Demand Anajar and Levine, and demand the Anajar and Levine difference. It takes just one phone call to begin to take back control of your life. So do that. Take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Anajar and Levine, Accident Attorneys. Take back control of your life.
Still looking for the ultimate gift for your sports fan? Head over to Palm Beach Autographs in the mall at Wellington Green. This week, Palm Beach Autographs presents 3 in-person signings. We get started on Friday with Chicago Bulls legend Dennis Rodman. Saturday will feature Miami Dolphins legend Bob Greasy. Then we finish up the weekend on Sunday with Stanley Cup champion goalie of the Florida Panthers, Sergei Bobrovsky. Can't make it to the mall at Wellington Green? No worries. Order online at palmbeachautographs.com.
Time now for a PNC pause. PNC Bank is committed to making a difference in the lives of the customers they serve in the South Florida community. See how at PNC.com. You're listening to ESPN 106.3.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
Every Friday is a Friday day on ESPN 106.3, served by Bud's Chicken and Seafood. Bud's uses better quality ingredients for better food and the best value. Visit any of Bud's Chicken and Seafood's 6 locations or go online now at budschicken.com.
Join us on Tuesday, December 10th for the YMCA of the Palm Beach's 15th annual prayer breakfast at the Breakers Palm Beach, featuring PGA Tour professional and Jupiter resident Ricky Fowler as the keynote speaker. All funds raised at the prayer breakfast provide children and families in our community with vital programs such as swim lessons, aquatics camps, and senior wellness classes. This inspiring event is a celebration of community, faith, and generosity. Tickets and sponsorship information are available at ymcapalmbeaches.org.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Sub out Christian Cat, thank God. Sub in Damian Perez. Thank the man upstairs. Russo and Rizzo, second hour here. We got a 3-hour edition today of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, the aforementioned Damian Perez helping us out now behind the glass at the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Damien, what's going on?
What's up, D?
Good afternoon, man. No pressure with that entrance, huh?
No, it's been a while since you've joined us. A couple weeks,
Damien, can I throw a fit about something real quick?
Yeah, of course.
I know you're a soccer fan, and I promise it won't be much. Man United's still miles off it from Arsenal, and I'm very frustrated about it. And that Amorin better be the savior. Okay, the new coach for United better be the savior that I got promised, because he's got a lot of work to do, partner.
Man, the change isn't supposed to happen overnight. Just know you guys are trending upwards.
Ridiculous, Colin. Go ahead.
So that's Damien Perez, of course, our producer behind the glass. It should be a fun one today. We're gonna hear from Fat Jack a little later, but earlier in the show we heard from Todd Fleming, the executive director of the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches. If you missed any of that, you can go catch that at Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. And of course, Jonathan Zaslow of the Zaslow Show 2.0, the college football tour, broke down what we're gonna see tomorrow in the conference championship week on the college football side of things. If you missed that, once again, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, or you can watch us and see our pretty faces on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, at ESPN West Palm, because we are live streaming there as well. Speaking of the Cognizant Classic, tickets are now on sale for the 2025 Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches. It's South Florida's premier event. It returns to the PGA National. It's February 26th to March 2nd. There's a youth ticket policy as well if you want to bring the family. And as a tradition at the Cognizant Classic, the youth ticket program, it offers a maximum of 2 children ages 15 and under to be admitted free for one ticketed adult. How about that? Applies to grounds access only. There's also a military appreciation initiative that they do at the Cognizant Classic. They have a deep-rooted commitment to supporting the military families, the veterans, their members, and the families attached, of course, especially those who call South Florida home. And local service members will have the chance to reserve 2 complimentary grounds tickets per day per the military ticket program. More information on how to redeem military tickets will be announced at a later date, but keep an eye out for that on the Cognizant Classic side of things. Looking forward to that. Should be a whole lot of fun. In the meantime, Thursday Night Football last night, we did a little bit of it now, but my question is, 34-31, Lions won. They were the beneficiary of hyper-aggressive play calling and doing what the Lions do, the reputation that they have built for themselves. But this is now 2 straight weeks now where the Lions have been the beneficiary of risky movements here and there, and whether the Bears side on Thanksgiving or the Packers side then. Now, the Lions got burned by this last year against the 49ers, as we all know. Is this a situation where are we even convinced that Dan Campbell has learned from his mistakes, or is this a live by the sword, die by the sword situation?
This is totally live by the sword, die by the sword, and I respect it. I just, we had Zaz on last segment. I said, say what you want about Campbell. We got a saying on this show, phony. Campbell is not a phony, Colin. That guy has a code, and he lives by it. Fair play to him for that, because it's fun to be a Lion fan right now. Colin, I don't know if they're going to go on and win the Super Bowl. I don't know if they're going to go on and have playoff success. As a miserable Jag fan, and myself as a miserable Brown fan, would you take 12-1? That's what
100%.
That's what living by the sword has gotten Dan Campbell this year.
Now, I think the Lions are past the point of this franchise was once such a dumpster fire that we should just be counting our wins and appreciating it because of how bad it once was. The Lions have graduated now into it's time to put up or shut up in the postseason and win the big one. That is that was last year. Last year, Lions was enjoy it. We haven't had this before. It's been a while. It's the honeymoon phase.
Yeah,
honeymoon's over. Now we're doing this all over again. The team is better, way more improved. You get some injuries. You get 3 head coaches essentially on staff. This is it, and there is definitely some cause for concern, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's a bad thing that he does go for it all the time, but you get burned by not taking your points against the Niners. All of a sudden, if we're back in the NFC Championship game against the Eagles, where the margin of error is a lot slimmer, if we keep doing this, what if Jared Goff got tripped up on that handoff yesterday at the final? Are we having a different conversation? Why would you go for it when you could kick a field goal there and Love goes down the field, gets a field goal at the end of the game?
Colin,
I hate the what if, but if he tripped.
But first off, I love the what if, as you know. Second off, they'd be 11-2 instead of 12-1?
Sure.
That'd be my honest to God. My take would be that's who Campbell is, and fair play to him. It'd be like the exact same take as today. You live by the sword, you die by it. Colin, I want to rewind back to 2022. The Lions were 1-7. There were serious conversations as to if Dan Campbell is going to keep his job. That team ended up winning every single game on their schedule, keeping Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs, and they've been on this fantastic run ever since then. They were 1-7 to start the year with no hope, and Campbell was going to get fired. Won every single game, made the NFC Championship game the following year, and are now 12-1. As I've said earlier in this segment, I don't know if Campbell's going to win a Super Bowl. I don't know if this Lion team is going to go on and have success in the playoffs this year. But fair play to that man for changing the culture, Colin, changing the complete complexion of the Detroit fan base. We used to say, where I grew up, at least we're not Detroit. We're miserable, but we're not Detroit. Yeah, everyone wants to be Detroit right now with how great they're playing.
Again, I understand that. He changed the culture. This is not me bashing Dan Campbell. He's not the right man for the job. It's not me saying that. It's me saying history's written by the victor. And if the Lions fall on the opposite side of history a couple times now, and whether they lose again, windows are short in the NFL. And all of a sudden they lose two coordinators and they can't pay a guy here, can't pay a guy there, and they're not necessarily running it back and didn't capitalize on this roster, then what is his legacy then? I'm not saying he should be conservative because that's just not his style, but when you shrink the margin of error purposely, you might get burned once in a while. Mm-hmm. It's worth the conversation that doesn't this just point to the fact that, they're getting away with it and there's going to be somebody that's not going to let you get away with it? Damian, I want to loop you into the conversation because the Lions have been the beneficiaries of expert play calling, good defensive coordination, good head coach, excellent roster, the benefit of a couple close matches, a couple close games here and there, whether that be the Minnesota game, whether that be the Bear game last week, or the Packer game where they were losing in the second half. Is this a situation where, you know what, let them do it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. This is who we are. Or should there be a tone back in terms of this over-aggressiveness from the Lions?
I love it. I love what Dan Campbell's doing, and I feel like his players do too. We mentioned he's somebody who players just love to play for. That locker room, you can tell, is just fully united. So that's one thing that you're going to get from Dan Campbell. And as a Dolphins fan, I remember he was the interim head coach for the Dolphins a few years ago.
Yep.
I saw the shift. I mean, maybe we didn't win the games, but you saw the shift in culture. And we can say he's getting away with it a little bit because even yesterday, Jared Goff did trip. He did trip. His knee actually did touch the ground. But they're winning games and they're beating the Packers. That's an NFC contender. So, I mean, in my opinion, I think we should just let him do his thing.
Colin, do you agree with me that he completely changed the complexion of that miserable fan base?
There's no question about that.
I think if a Lion fan were to complain about Dan Campbell right now and going for it, it's spoiled, right? Spoiled.
Spoiled if you don't win the big one? How spoiled are you? Comparatively to what? The worst franchise in sports? I get that.
That's okay. Because that's what I was going to rebuttal with.
But the Lions are past this. The Lions are past this. They're no longer in the honeymoon phase. All right, we'll take our 10 to 15 wins and moderate playoff success and run. We'll be the Buffalo Bills and be okay with it. They are past that. They are now, we need to win the big one. The Lions is win the Super Bowl. They are the best team in the league. They are the best coach team in the league. They have the best roster in the league, and they have a good amount of experience.
You don't think there's something to be said to, quote unquote, sticking with your gut, and no matter what, I'm not going to do things different. We are who we are, and this is the culture we have built.
Isn't that a lazy way to explain me being reckless? You could still be who you are 2 or 3 less
then
times.
Then don't hire Dan Campbell.
No, hold on.
You know what you're getting.
Hold on. Then instead of going for it 5 times on 4th down, go for it 2 or 3 times on 4th down. It might save you a possession here and there. It's exactly what happened against San Francisco.
You don't think Campbell's learned from that game, Colin?
Well, I don't know. I can't say that because this is the regular season and it worked. It's easy to commend it and applaud it when it worked. If it didn't work, that's when the criticism comes in. That's what people said the entirety of the offseason with the Lions is that Dan Campbell needs to tone it back.
I agree.
Now all of a sudden we should throttle it up again?
Here's 2 things. I agree with you that Campbell, I think, almost single-handedly lost the game. I do remind you, though, God forbid the offense of the Detroit Lions scored in that second half. But at the same time, I respect a man who sticks to his morals and sticks to his gut. Sometimes it's going to burn you, and that's why I want to remind everyone, Dan Campbell is who he is, and he is not going to change for it. Are we going to sit here and critique the hell out of him if he makes a horrible decision in our eyes? Absolutely. But you also got to look at him and go, wow, you stuck with your gut. There's something to be said about that.
You can still be who you are and still be aggressive on fourth down. The two things can be true. He still kicks field goals. He didn't forego the field goal unit completely. Utilize it once in a while. If he went for it on one of those near red zone fourth downs in the NFC Championship game, it's a 3-possession game, that might be a whole lot different. But instead, he kept it within 2 possessions multiple times, and they got burned because of it.
Let me ask you this then. Where does he rank in head coaches in the NFL right now?
I mean, I have no idea.
On a 12-1
He's a top 5 coach right now.
Okay,
but he's also the
That's what I wanted to
beneficiary of. I'm not bashing. You're taking you're thinking too broad scope here. I'm thinking with Dan Campbell, this is exactly the thing that burned them. How many times does it have to burn them before it's a problem? All he has to do is kick a field goal.
It burned him in a big spot. It burned him one time really bad in the biggest spot possible.
Okay,
I agree.
So
with
if it happens again,
I agree with that. I would agree with that.
My point: if it happens again, then what? Then what? If he trips, Packers might win that game. What if that was a playoff game? At what point can we get off the parade about it and say that it's a little reckless? I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Sure.
I like the Lions, and I root for them, and they're a lot of fun to watch, and I thought they called an expert game yesterday. But
I envy...
It works until it doesn't.
I envy Detroit Lion fans right now.
I also
Brutally
feel like
envy them.
the Lions are built to play that kind of style of football. They're very unpredictable. If you look at it, Amon-Ra St. Brown only had 6 targets last night.
And a bunch of those touchdowns came to guys who, let's call it for what it is, you'd be like, who? You know,
Tim Patrick.
Yeah, I mean, who? You know, and Jamison Williams, 5 catches for 80 yards as well. So like they were getting the ball to their playmakers and whatnot. They're a deep team, right? That's why I say the way this team has been constructed. GM, Colin, who's your GM? Help me out.
Brad Holmes.
For him and Campbell, the way they constructed this team, you got to tip your cap. And I think Holmes and the Lions, they know, and that's why my biggest takeaway with, and Colin, it's a fair take. Trust me, it's a fair point, all right, with what you're trying to say. The Lions organization knows what they signed up for, and this happens again, they got to eat it. It's that simple, man. It is that simple. And I think there are a lot of other teams in the NFL right now saying, God, I wish we had a guy like Campbell to set the tone, set the culture, and be a stand-up guy and know what you're going to get out of him. And 12-1 helps.
I just think there's somewhere in the middle of where you and I are right now that the Lions might be benefiting of just going to. And whether that means just 1 or 2 less drives of not playing conservative but not playing reckless. There's a level in between that I think might benefit
full throttle,
the
baby.
Lions.
Kyle, full throttle, pedal to the metal.
Because if it was maybe if you want to be some sort of trailblazer, great. But there's a blueprint to being a dynasty, and it's a mixture of both.
Do you need a venti coffee, brother? Do I got to go get your venti coffee and a couple of kneecaps?
The Patriots
sign me up, Kyle.
Were fairly conservative, but they knew there were moments and when to be aggressive. The Chiefs probably a little more aggressive than the Patriots were, but also know there are moments when to play the field position game and trust their defense. There is levels to this in knowing when to build something like a dynasty. If that's the goal for the Lions, they are good enough as a roster to win multiple Super Bowls. Why slim the margin of error?
If the Lions win a Super Bowl the way they're playing and the style of play of going for it and taking the risks, it's an NFL Films, man. And it's the guy with the deep voice. And, it's the guy in the NFL Films. They did it their way, and it worked.
Totally. That's the risk. That's the risk.
Is that not the Detroit way, too? I mean, you had the bad boy Pistons, the Michigan Wolverines on the other end. They're a hard-running football team, hard-nosed
I get it.
football.
This is not like black and white. This is
Michigan.
This is in the middle I'm trying to find here.
There's no middle with Dan Campbell, Kyle. I think you're finding that out
there is.
here.
He kicks field goals. If there wasn't a middle, he'd be going for it at every fourth down. He kicks field goals, and he's got a good kicker. So
there's a guy puking in a bucket at the end of that game in that locker room, and he said, hell yeah, brother.
All it took was one of the 3 fourth downs he went for in that second half of that NFC Championship game to completely change the ending of that game. All it took. So there's a level that I'm just saying, are you doing the same exact thing? Or are you asking for the same exact result?
Is there accountability for the offense, though, Colin, that really didn't do much in that second half, too? I understand. I told you I'm with you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And they had multiple drops. Josh Reynolds had a couple brutal drops.
Just making sure.
And Goff played a very strong game, especially in that second half. He got burned by a couple drops. They looked a little frazzled. So there'll be a year season. So there's something to be said with that. But I'm just saying you're
to that
expecting
point.
it.
I feel like if the defense wasn't as banged up as it is, it would probably influence their decision a little bit more to be a little bit more conservative.
But you're playing a team that played 31, that has 31 points and has had a stellar second half. There's an argument.
But don't you think the culture that Campbell has built, like they find a way? I think last night, I understand they give up 31 points, Colin. I always say, if you keep it under 25 in the NFL, I think it's pretty solid, in any level for that matter. But even without Aiden Hutchinson, and we went through the injury report yesterday on our show, they were without a lot of guys on the defense. They're finding ways. They're finding ways for it to work. And I think that's the culture of Campbell.
Totally. That's the culture of a winning football team. You find a way to win. The Chiefs, nobody is better at finding a way to win than the Kansas City Chiefs. That's what winners do. The Patriots were elite at just finding a way to win. That's what determines a good team. I'm not saying that's outside of what I'm trying to ask of the Lions here. I'm just saying that there's worth a conversation. That are you asking for a similar result to get burned in a big spot because you were being over-aggressive? Right. I'm not saying yesterday was over-aggressive. Honestly, I agreed with it in the moment. But it just makes me think reflectively about the history of the Lions and the culture, not the culture, the process that they consistently go with.
You mentioned the Lions and you mentioned the Chiefs. Is that what we're destined for here? Is that the planets colliding? For me, I think it's 80%. I'm at the 80% point that we see both those teams in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs always find a way, and the Lions look like an absolute juggernaut right now that nothing's going to stop them. And with all due respect to Philadelphia, I understand Philadelphia is a serious threat, but with all due respect, I do not see Sirianni getting past Campbell at this point in this season.
Here's an example. Sirianni, hyper-aggressive, doesn't work out all the time. What's the reflection of Nick Sirianni? Reckless. A bit over his head, likes to be seen.
Let me butt in, too. You said he lost his coordinators. Remember you said if Campbell loses a couple coordinators, let's see.
You feel that.
Could
happen. And he's going to lose both. I'm not destining him for failure, but I don't think the difference between Nick Sirianni and Dan Campbell is traditionally all that different. Maybe they don't buy Sirianni as well. They buy Campbell. He's a better culture builder.
And he's
more
likable.
But in terms of the aggression, he's way more likable.
He's more likable.
But in terms of the aggression, there's similarities. And Sirianni's gotten burned by it a couple times, and he looks like an idiot, and he's got fans that are hungry for winning and not necessarily in the honeymoon phase like the Lion fan is. It's a little different.
Yep.
But a couple plays here and there, Campbell might be getting a Sirianni treatment. I'm just posing an argument.
That's two different towns, too.
Way different towns.
Philly is. Well, Philly, there has been championship aspirations since what?
Great in every sport.
Andy Reid,
great in every sport.
And even let's stick it with the Eagles, though. Like Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb were getting to Super Bowls. They had Michael Vick for a little bit. We're solid with him. So, definitely different situations. Detroit's happy to be there still. And Colin, I like your take of they're past that, but I still think Detroit fan is, my God, we're 12-1. This is amazing.
And they're just fresh off a Michigan national championship. The Tigers are really good. There's a lot to be happy about if you're a Detroit fan. I understand.
Thanks for not mentioning the game, by the way.
But
I appreciate it.
If they get burned again, tune's going to change. Tune's going to change fast. Very curious to see how that happens then. Mike and I got to make some picks against the spread. We'll do that a little later in the show. But in the meantime, we're opening up the phone lines. 888-760-3776. That's the Baptist Health hotline to get into the program. Dan Campbell, over-aggressive? Is this a calculated move? Are they asking to get burned by this again? Give us your thoughts. Give us your reaction. Dan Campbell might be a little closer to Sirianni than people like to give him credit for.
Lighting the fire under Lion fan today.
888-760-3776. We continue the program. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen, and ESPN 106.3 is all hoops and helmets this week. Tomorrow, it's Championship Saturday. First up, it's round 2 of the NAIA playoffs. The Kaiser Seahawks on the road to another national championship, live from West Palm at 12:30. History is made right here on ESPN 106.3.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? If you're the victim of a car crash, you will always speak to a lawyer. You'll always get the highest standard of care from our dedicated legal team, and we'll always fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Don't wait. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
In office, West Palm Beach.
The quality of our choices affects the quality of our lives. So, when it comes to how you move, do you choose to see a doctor or go to the #1 orthopedic specialist in the world, backed by a team who custom tailor your treatment? Do you choose to live with limitations or live life to the fullest by going to the place that's #1 at getting people back to what they love? Choose better, move better. Locations in West Palm Beach and Wellington. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
It's ESPN 1063, your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet. Home of the Miami Dolphins, Miami Hurricanes, and all of the biggest football matchups throughout the week. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sports book. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned by gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Palm Beach County's premier college football event is back. Don't miss the 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, Wednesday, December 18th from FAU Stadium and broadcast live on ESPN. Last year's game saw in-state Rising Power USF beat Syracuse out of the ACC. What will this year's game have in store? Big names, big teams, big action. The 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, December 18th at FAU Stadium on ESPN. Don't miss out. Find out more at BocaRatonBowl.com.
Hey, it's your boy JC. Aaron Rodgers just went full mind game manipulation on his own team. See it all on today's brand new Questionable Call with Josh Cohen, exclusively on YouTube. Subscribe now. Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on YouTube.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and saute. That's Desmond Howard level versatility.
Huddle up, the food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
I'm only human, y'all. I'm only human, y'all. I'm only human, y'all.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
888-760-3776. The number to get into the program, that's 888-760-3776. That's the Baptist Health Hotline. Dan Campbell being aggressive on fourth down. Lions proved something yesterday with a 34-31 win on Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime last night. Super aggressive, 43 seconds left, in field goal range, 4th and short. Decide to go for it, run the ball, close out the game. Don't give Jordan Love a chance. Is this a Lions are just putting it all together, this is what they do? Or is this a situation where you're doing the similar things you did last year that ended up burning you towards the end of the year? Which is it? 888-760-3776. In the meantime, tomorrow you got conference championship play. You also got playoff football right here in South Florida. Kaiser football's got a big one tomorrow. Mike can tell you all about it.
Folks, they're taking on Georgetown College coming up at 2 p.m. Myself and Cyrus Wittig are going to be on the call. We're going to have a great time on ESPN 1063 airwaves. But, folks, I do want to remind you guys, champions, they're all over the flagship campus of Kaiser University in West Palm Beach. That includes the defending champion and #1 ranked Kaiser football team you just heard me talk about. They're hosting Georgetown College in the NAIA Football Championship Series this Saturday. So get on out there this Saturday. The Kaiser Seahawks have won 22 national championships in addition to football. The Seahawks have the back-to-back national champions in men's lacrosse and have won 3 straight NAIA women's swimming and diving titles. KU has also captured 64 regular season and 63 conference tournament titles, plus a Learfield trophy. Get the latest on Kaiser Seahawks Athletics. That's KUSeahawks.com. And once again, folks, I apologize. 1 p.m. You think the guy on the call would remember the time. 1 p.m. That's a 12:30 coverage start on ESPN 106.3, but a 1 p.m. start between Kaiser and Georgetown. And also want to give a shout out to our intern, Ashley. She is on the flag football team. They made it to their respectable championship last year. Expecting some big things from them as well. Hang on, we got Mikey Jones on the line?
Like to welcome in Mike Jones to the program on Russo and Rizzo. Mr. Mike Jones, who works with us, I believe, if this is the same Mike Jones.
It's Mike Jones, our MC.
Mike Jones is a partnership coordinator over here at ESPN West Palm. He's a Lions fan himself. Let's loop him into the conversation. Mr. Jones, what's on your mind?
So let's talk about this. Dan Campbell going for it on 4th down. All the Lions fans that I've seen have been happy about it in the regular season, correct?
Correct.
Now, as Rizzo brought up to me, come playoff time, I want to know what you guys think. Like, I personally believe you got to play safe football. Last year against the Niners, you got burned. You got burned by going for it. This year, you've seen the improvement in the game management from him, and that's why they've won 11 straight and they're 12-1.
So are you under the impression now that the Lions are just going to, stop on the dime the second the playoffs start and they're all of a sudden going to be ultra-conservative?
No, they're not. They're going to stick to their ways of playing smash-mouth football, run the ball down your throat until you tap out in the third quarter, and they're going to keep playing that physical brand of football. That's what's wearing teams down. So they are not really going to need to go for 4th downs like that very often. Now, if it comes down to it and potentially, hopefully, fingers crossed, the Super Bowl, then I would say, you know what, go for it. Put all your marbles on the table. You got to go for it. But if you're trying to make it to the Super Bowl, yes, I would say maybe stop it, pump the brakes a little bit, be a little bit more conservative because every play matters.
Colin, not me. Full throttle. I'm embracing Dan Campbell. This is what you bought in. This is what you signed up for with Campbell. Why change? You go full throttle with Dan Campbell through and through. It got you to 12-1. It got you to the NFC Championship last year. You really want the guy to change who he is, Mikey?
I mean, that's the same guy who went full throttle, and we lost that NFC title game while we were up in halftime. We were sitting there. I was sitting there in Ford Field at the watch party. Couldn't believe that we were almost on the way to the Super Bowl.
Wow,
yeah.
you were in the
and
building.
As soon as Niners, they kept coming back, and next thing you know, the whole room got silent because we were fearing of what was going to happen next.
I'm curious about this. In Ford Field, Dan Campbell going for it on 4th down, I believe 3 times in that second half, got burned on all of them, especially in field goal range. At what point did the people at Ford Field, you were around a bunch of Lion fans, start to get a little frustrated with the over-aggression?
It was after the second one when they didn't get it. And I can tell you what, a lot of people blame that game on Josh Reynolds, too. I don't blame it as much on him.
Drops.
I think it's a team effort. Yes, with drops. And that's why, unfortunately, he's not on the team this year.
Guys, this is who Dan Campbell is. He's not just going to stop on a dime like Kyrie Irving driving in the lane and go up with his left. He's going to keep going. He's going to keep doing what he is doing, and I respect it. And it might result in another playoff loss. You got to respect the guy for sticking to his ways, to his way of thinking.
Nice job, Mr. Jones. Appreciate you joining in there. But one thing Mike, the one thing I'll say, nobody's asking him to change his haircut and make sure he comes in with a fake nose and glasses. Nobody's asking him to be completely different. One less drive a game. Maybe don't go for it on 4th and 4 at the opposing 30.
Colin, you are the one that's all about respect and sticking to your way. And if you don't, you're a phony. Wouldn't Campbell be a phony if he changed the way he's doing
he'd be a
things?
phony if he didn't acknowledge that something wasn't working and he didn't make changing it. That would be a phony. That would be a phony. And I'm not saying it is a phony, but if this happens twice, Dan Campbell's going to have to answer some pretty concerning questions. Phone lines open, 888-760-3776. We go to Jupiter. Joe in Jupiter, you're on with Russo and Rizzo. Joe, what's going on?
What's up, guys? First of all, I've been a long-time listener to the show. This might be my first time to call y'all, but I've been listening as far back as when Evan Cohen and Jeanette had a show in the afternoons, and Ken Levick and all that.
Wow.
And,
Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate that, Joe.
Yeah, we appreciate it, partner.
You bet. And then Theo, of course, in the afternoons now. Good, on his new show. I'll give you my Dan Campbell take real quick, and then I want to give you a prediction on a different sport, if I may.
Take it away.
All right. Well, first of all, Dan Campbell, I'm a diehard Cowboy fan. I'll be the most diehard Cowboy fan that you'll ever probably hear call your show when y'all start talking Cowboys, even there's nothing really too much to talk about right now. But that's what I'm known for, from Texas, 40 years of my life. And Dan Campbell was 2003 to 2006. This is what he is. He would come on radio shows back in Dallas and just be exactly who he is now. He is doing exactly what he wants. He's going to go for it no matter what. He's just a monster, and it's showing right now in his coaching level. His demeanor hasn't changed, and now it's showing it on the field. They were talking back when he was a tight end for us back in 2003 to 2006 when we were terrible. He was always so fired up. He is not going to let the gas down. He is going to go, 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 and now it's showing it on the field.
As he should. I'm with Joe on that. And as you know, Colin, why change? Why change? You're 12-1.
Hey,
it's working.
Yeah, it's working until it's not, but I understand the point. And Joe, what's your big prediction? What do you got?
Well, I gave a prediction with Ken Levick before the Rangers won the World Series a couple years ago. I told him in April or May or something like that, and I was looking over the roster, and I was like, "This is a really good team. Just wait and see." Turns out, and he held me to that. And turns out they won the World Series for the first time ever, which I've been watching since I was 10. So that was pretty magical. And I'm saying this right now for the Mavericks. Huge Mavericks fan, of course. They're getting things together. They've got 6 or 7 people that can score 20 points a game. That's even without Luka. Kyrie, I know it's funny that you mentioned Kyrie a few minutes ago.
Yep.
I didn't know if you knew I was on the line.
So Joe, quickly, my sister works marketing and is a social media worker for the Dallas Mavericks. I'm actually wearing a Mavericks hoodie as we speak, but keep going, partner.
Wow.
Yep, would love to see it. Personally would love to see it, but I'm sorry to butt in on your take.
Kyrie is incredible. Luka is what Luka is. We all know that. And we got a bunch of role players that I think can get us to the promised land. So my prediction is they will get back to the NBA Finals and probably win it this year. That's my prediction.
Lively, P.J. Washington. They got a pretty solid core. And, Joe, that draft pick, if you remember, they kind of tanked 2 years ago to end the season. That draft pick turned out to be lively. Yep, and it's done them wonders. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me speak, and great listening to y'all. And I'll try to call in a little bit more.
All right, Joe.
When I have the time.
That's Joe in Jupiter.
You're awesome.
Given his thinks the Mavericks are going to win the NBA Finals, and is pro Dan Campbell. Don't change your ways. We shift to Wellington. J-Rock in Wellington. Yeah. You're on Russo and Rizzo. J-Rock, what's going on?
Rock pile in the house.
Hey, guys, I just got one quick question for you, and I'll let you go. If you went for it on 4th down and didn't get it, but they still won in overtime, would you still think it was a huge mistake to go for it?
I think it would be labeled as a big mistake to go for it by the consensus that he probably just should have taken the points there, and I think it would have been labeled as his escape. Would you agree with that?
I think a win's a win. There's a lot of ugly wins, and at the end of the day, a win's a win. So you know what I mean? There's so many close games that we say, wow, the other team should have won, or injuries or whatever. But to me, a win is a win.
Well, let me pose a what if to you really quickly. If Goff falls down and they get him down, and the Packers go down the field and get a field goal, then what do they say?
But you're saying that they're getting a field goal in what, 40 seconds?
40 seconds, yes. Yeah, I think they had 2 timeouts at that point. Yeah,
it's possible.
But that's a big if.
Sure.
That's a big if.
Now, J-Rock, J-Rock, my answer would be, this is who Dan Campbell is. If you don't like it, find a new head coach. Honest to God. You know you're going to get this from Campbell. You know that he's pedal to the metal no matter what. He's not going to slow down for anybody else. This is the head coach he is. If you don't like it, if you don't like 12-1, you don't like 6-1 at home, go find someone else, right?
Exactly.
All right. Appreciate the call, J-Rock. 888-760-3776, the number to get into the program, the Baptist Health Hotline. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care is a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit BaptistHealth.com/ortho to learn more today. They combine its resources with experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine and sports medicine. They got it all. Visit BaptistHealth.net/ortho for more information today. They have offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County throughout the Florida Keys. All you got to do, go to BaptistHealth.net/ortho. Dan Campbell, I mean, does he need to tone it back? Is 888-760-3776. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I don't think that this is black and white. I don't think that you are asking Dan Campbell to coach with one hand behind his back. A little bit, 5-10% back. Maybe they would be the beneficiary of that. Because at what point does people get a little fed up with it? When it's avoidable. If you're a quarterback and, you can't throw a deep ball because you don't have the arm strength and people are just like, that's just not your game. That's not your game. You want to say the same thing about Dan Campbell, that's not his coaching? I would say differently because it's just a in-the-moment decision. He's capable of putting out the field goal unit and taking 3. Just saying.
Could be worse. You could have Matt Patricia as your head coach.
Good. And if the Lions want to, let Campbell do whatever he wants, let him throw 10 guys out there on the field instead of 11 because, it's better than what we had with Patricia. So, the way I look at it is I think they're away from that, but I understand the point. It's like anything's better than what we had. Just posing a question.
You can bring back Steve Mariucci if you want.
God. 888-760-3776, the number to get into the program. That's the Baptist Health hotline, 888-760-3776. Now, we got John and Lake Worth joining the program now on Russo and Rizzo. John, what's going on? What's on your mind?
Johnny.
Good afternoon, guys. How you doing?
Good. What do you got for us?
So first thing, Dan Campbell, in my opinion, did the right thing there because that's what he's known for, right? How many times has he done this throughout the season? He's always gone for it on 4th down. He's never cared where it is on the field, where it is as far as time on the clock. Why change who you are? Why change who you've been? And you just got to go for it, right?
Absolutely. And Paisan, I tell you what, I mean, what, do you want to go back to Steve Mariucci? You want to go back to Gary Moeller?
Why is this the argument?
Because if you're a Lion,
what they lost because of this in the NFC Championship game.
If you're a Lion fan, you are thrilled to bits right now. You are thrilled to bits right now to be 12-1 and the talk of the NFL and the top of the brass in the NFC with a first-round bye. Am I right, John?
I agree, 100%. 100%. And one other thing, I don't know if you guys remember, about a month or so ago, I gave you guys a call before you started your rec basketball league. I wanted to know how you guys were doing in there.
In where?
Your rec basketball league that you're coaching.
God, John,
we're 0-5. We're 0-5.
And John, we hit a major Johnny Paisan, we had a major setback on Wednesday. And I blame myself because I wasn't at the last 2 games, and Colin said, we're actually looking really good. And, Coach Rizzo shows back up from holiday break, and we lose by 30.
Well, John, here's the problem. We don't play well on Wednesdays. We get destroyed on Wednesdays, and we play well on Saturdays. Can you believe that?
No, I don't believe that one iota.
We got a lot of problems.
Johnny, we're inconsistent. What's your advice? We're very inconsistent right now. What do we got to do?
Well, listen, I gave you guys advice before you started the league. Did you take that advice?
With the advice that we got to deal with the parents and we got to make sure that everything's situated there and doing the press. Yeah, we tried the press and nobody remembered it.
All right, but you got to practice it. You got practice makes perfect. You got to do muscle memory over and over and over
John,
and over.
I'm at the point, partner, where if LeBron James were to join this team, I don't think he'd help. That's where I'm at this point. Honest to God, partner.
Johnny has a point.
I am at that point right now. Every time, Johnny, hang on. Every time I drive home from where we play our games, the beautiful JCC, every time I drive home, I just go, Colin and I were competitors. We played high school basketball and the competitive high school sports. I mean, partner, I don't lose like this. We're losing by 20. I'm sitting there talking to parents after the game, having explained to them, one of our kids, his dad is the coach of a high school team. He looks at me, he goes, we're having a great time, but maybe we cut out on the turnovers. I don't know what the hell to say to him.
Well, I feel your pain. If you remember, I've been coaching for over 30 years, and my wife told me one night that I just kept repeating this one kid's name in my sleep over and over and over because I say it so much during every single game with all the errors that the kid used to make. So I feel your pain. I do.
Appreciate the call, John, as always.
Thank you, Johnny.
We're going to need your help a little later in the year. I think this is everybody gets into the postseason. We're in full reliance now on the ability to do a bit of a 1980s United States Olympic team run.
John, there's no secret. We're on the hot seat. It's as hot as Hades under my bum right now.
If you want me to help you coach one of your practices, have your producer reach out. I'll see if I can make it and give you guys some help.
John, with all due respect, no way.
Johnny,
no
we
way.
got to do this.
We
Don't
built
you
this
agree?
boat. We're going to sail this.
If Dan Campbell's going to do things his way, Coach Russo and Rizzo are going to do things our way.
Good job, John. Appreciate the call. With all due respect, no chance. No chance. We built this boat. We're on the Titanic right now. We're gonna dock this boat.
We're gonna figure it out. But Kyle, I'll tell you what. I wasn't kidding. Driving 20 minutes home from the JCC, it's just hands and palms and face and palms. I don't know what to do.
On the flip side of things, we'll give our punchline picks of the week. We take 6 against the spread and compete against Theo Dorsey and Christian Cadiff, theoretically speaking. And we have a bit of a lead on them, so we got important picks to make next against the spread. Stick around for it. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
It's wintertime, which means you need to get ahead of all the bowl game action and plan out your weekends. It's time to make Twin Peaks your headquarters to watch all your favorite teams, your favorite games, the bowl games, and the NFL playoffs. Whether your teams win or lose, you still wind up a winner with eats, drinks, scenic views, and Twin Peaks 29-degree ice-cold beers. Enjoy some made-from-scratch favorites like the mozzarella bites, their famous burgers, their unbelievable wings, while enjoying all the action. You already know I love the Billionaire Bacon. Get you some. Can't make it for all the games? That's fine. Come for the man-size $5 happy hour drafts and enjoy select appetizers as well. And you don't want to just watch football. Twin Peaks has you covered for all the fights. The official UFC fight headquarters. Never pay a cover to watch any UFC, MMA, or boxing ever. Fight headquarters, Twin Peaks. Now you know. Twin Peaks, the ultimate guy sports lodge. Eats, drinks, scenic views, 29-degree beer, made from scratch favorites, and your UFC fight headquarters is Twin Peaks.
What's the Anajar Levine difference? When you're injured in a car crash, we focus on your case so you can focus on the one thing that matters most, getting better. I'm Glenn Levine with Anajar Levine. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation, 1-800-747-FREE. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Good people. It's your boy Theo Dorsey, and let me tell you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Think Justin Jefferson will get more than 83.5 yards next week? How about Lamar Jackson? More than 1.5 touchdowns. Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code THEOD to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code THEOD and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Shot, I know you be hearing this and that from here and there, but please trust and believe, little mama. I see you gon' ride for me, so I'ma die for you.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Rolling on here on Russo and Rizzo. Friday edition. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, of course, Damian Perez helping us out behind the glass today. It's that time of the week where we actually have to put our minds together and put together something that is cohesive in terms of making picks. It's our punchline picks of the week. We are coming off 2 straight weeks where we are 6-1. So 12-2, essentially in our last. This is by no inclination a declaration for people to tail us.
So what's that record count? Do we know the record, though?
Yeah,
overall?
we're ahead of them by 3 games in the record. I could pull it up right now and get it's like 45 and 40. Okay. We have 45 wins, they have 42.
Well, we got to keep it up.
We got to keep it up. And listen, we're hot. This is by no means a declaration that anybody listening should be tailing us, because we are by no means professional gamblers. We'll hear from the professional at 5:30 with Fat Jack of FatJackSports.com joining us. But it's punchline picks. We're going to check out our picks on Hard Rock Bet. Now that we're into the playoff implicating side of the football season, you've seen enough about how these teams are shaping up. You get conference championships, of course, coming out this weekend. There's no better time to try your first bet on Hard Rock Bet. You don't even have to bet a lot. You can bet as little as $1 and put together a parlay. In Week 6, for example, a bettor in South Florida put $1 on a first touchdown score parlay. That's 5 different players that score the first touchdown in their game on that Sunday. Turned a $1 bet into $40,000. Did that on Hard Rock Bet, so can you. Of course, you get the college football playoff on the horizon. You're going to be watching these games anyway. The way I look at it, you might as well sprinkle some action on it. You could do it on Hard Rock Bet. Go download it today. Go to the App Store, the Google Play Store. Go to hardrock.bet online to get started today. Bet your favorite teams and players, the league's biggest stars. Combine all your picks on a parlay. You can bet the awards. You can bet whatever you like over on Hard Rock. Try it now. Get up to $100 back in bonus bets if that first bet does not win. You either win your first bet or get the same amount you bet back as a bonus bet. That first bet can be a parlay, can be a prop, can be an over, whatever you like to bet in a game you choose. It's Hard Rock Bet, offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. The wager, terms and conditions apply. Considered by gambling, call 1-888-ADMINUTE. Time for us to blitz the book, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Send some heat. Pin your ears back. It's time to blitz the book. Presented by Hard Rock Bet.
So Blitz the Book, presented by Hard Rock Bet, is where Mike and I make our 6 picks of the week against the spread and going against Theo Dorsey and Christian Cat here. They sent us their picks a little earlier than we have to make it. Mike and I have to come together and put something on paper here.
And you know what? I swear C-Cat was listening to us with that Arizona State pick, but it is what it is.
No, he sent this to me yesterday.
Oh, did he? I'm the phony then.
They took
we have a problem.
Arizona State minus 1.5. They took Penn State plus 3.5. They took Clemson plus 2. Those are their college picks. And in the NFL, they took the Panthers plus 13, which I love, which is unfortunate because I like that pick. They took the Chargers again plus 4. They take the Chargers every week, and they take the Dolphins every week too.
Hang on, we took the Chargers last week and won.
Right, but they always take the Chargers as well. Dolphins, they took that at minus 2.5. Those are their 6 picks. So if we wanted to steer clear of that, we could. But the thing is, I like that Arizona State pick.
Which one? I mean,
do you want to? Either we take one of the Panthers or the Arizona State pick. I do not like taking both.
Okay.
Would you agree with this?
No, but
you don't want to take either.
I'd take both personally. We're in the lead, not our problem. Let's take the Panthers then.
I mean, we could do both if you want. I mean, it's sort of the smart way to do it. I guess you could keep them ahead. Either we win together or lose together.
Here's the thing. I did not see these picks, and I brought both of those picks up to you. So, if they want to cry, oh, you're picking the same games as us, I personally wouldn't care. But let's do the
Here's
line.
one that we do like, and if Mike wants to burn us again with this godforsaken pick, I mean, this is going to be quite a hill to die on, and it's the Battle of the Bricks, Ohio versus Miami of Ohio. We took them the first time. We took Ohio, and Mike was so convinced that Ohio was going to come in and throttle their rival Miami of Ohio. And Miami of Ohio beat the brakes off of Ohio. We got burned like you wouldn't believe.
This is a different team.
They're playing in the MAC championship, and it is a 2-point underdog that Ohio is.
Guess where it's at? You want to know magic, theme, and mojo? Guess where it's at? Ford Field, who we've been talking about all day today. Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. Because this is old Ohio's day. +2, Bobcats.
Ohio
Lock
plus
it in.
2.
MAC champions.
So we have that. We'll leave the college ones on the back burner for the moment. You know what's one I like? I like Arizona against Seattle -2.5. They already got their beat out of the way. It was a couple weeks ago. It's fresh in their minds. They need a win. And they're sitting at 6-6. The Seattle's at 7-5. That's a game where the desperation might prevail there. I don't think Seattle will beat them twice. Arizona's very good at home. They've been on the road for 2 straight weeks.
Kyler struggled the last couple of games too.
And it was on the road.
I'm with you.
They're good at home. So from that perspective, I think Arizona's going to bounce back in a good way and win that one -2.5.
All right. So we got Ohio +2, Arizona -2.5. I wanted to bring this one to your attention here. Dude, how much of a you-know-what show are the Giants?
It's ugly, but they have a long week here. So you like New Orleans? New Orleans is a 5-point favorite in that one on the road.
I kind of do with Carr and Kamara. I think that alone is enough to beat the Giants by a touchdown. I know it's on the road. I know it's, the Fat Jack tells us all the time, road dogs. I don't know. I kind of like New Orleans in this game, Colin. I think I know I'm all over the place here, but is there a conversation that we might have to have about Dable if he loses out the season?
Is that part of the reason why the Lions are going to lose? I mean, the Giants will lose this game big? I mean, you're leading into the point that they might play competitive here.
I just think I think a healthy Carr and a Kamara is better than anything.
What I completely agree with you on is that Carr and Kamara have a lot to play for. And they're trying to prove that the Saints should not blow everything up, and they should just get the right head coach in there and try to revamp that roster to make what they have work. The Giants, on the other hand, are, it's a dead carcass in the middle of the ocean, and they're just waiting for everybody to feast on them. So that's just, from that perspective, I agree. It's just 5 points is a big line.
I don't like it. Let me refrain that. Let me say this too. I don't like any of these games. I rather just stick to college. Like, I don't like the Bills 3.5 on the road. I mean, the Niners, you could talk me into taking the Niners -4. They're playing the Bears. The Bears are hopeless. You could talk me into the 49ers, but the Niners season's over as well. What are they playing for?
Shanahan might rip apart that defense, but, I mean, Chicago +4 there.
So you're telling me they took the Chargers +4?
They took the Chargers +4, and the Chargers will play them well.
You wouldn't want to take the Chiefs?
The Chiefs have won so close. They're begging to lose. I wouldn't want to play on the other side of that.
Okay.
But there might be a point there. If you really like it, we could go with it.
Not.
You know what one I like?
What do you like?
Tennessee -3 against Jacksonville.
Well, now you're betting with your heart. I'll let this fly because you're letting me
betting
get
with
Ohio.
my heart. I don't know if I'm betting with my heart. I think they got Will Levis healthy. Jacksonville's a mess.
But you're the one who tells me the Silver Fox Doug Peterson is coaching for everything. That guy's trying to save his job.
Players aren't playing for everything. I think there's a difference there. But you're right. The Jacksonville played competitive against Houston last week after a terrible first half. But the way I look at it, I think Tennessee might be a little desperate for a win. You want to talk about somebody who's playing for their job? It's Will Levis. Will Levis needs to prove something here. They got the 32nd ranked defense in the NFL.
Okay. All right, fine.
I don't hate that one.
Titans it is. Titans it is. These are miserable games, partner.
Yeah, well.
Miserable games.
So we took the Cardinals -2.5, the Titans -3. We have Ohio +2.
You want to know the bet I like? Georgia plus the points in Atlanta. How the hell are they not favorites in that game? They blew the doors off of Texas the first time in Austin. To your point, your famous saying, Riz, hard to beat a team twice. In their backyard, SEC championship. First time Texas has ever been to the SEC championship.
Now, it's the first time that Texas has ever been in the SEC championship game, which might be bulletin board on that end, but it's also a year removed from Georgia blowing this game and losing a bid because of it.
Also, so Carson, another side too. Carson Beck has played his best football the last 3 weeks of the season. I know, Colin, it was at home. I know all those 3 games were at home. But I think there's something to be said how well he's been playing too.
Give us a reason why to really get into the game. I'll take Georgia plus 2.5 as well.
Perfect.
Georgia plus 2.5. Cardinals minus 2.5. Georgia plus 2.5, excuse me. Titans minus 3. Ohio plus 2. Do you want to take one of the Arizona State Panther game? Or Arizona State minus 1.5 or Panthers plus 13.5?
I would probably be more confident in Arizona State. I told you, and I know the Campbell guy's an Ohio guy. He's been linked to the Buckeye job, apparently, according to some. I think I feel more confident in Arizona State to win that game than the Panthers to cover on the road. That's my best guess.
All right, let's go there.
And you told me, too, in the break, Riz, they're hot.
They're hot. Offensively, they're hot. I like Cam Scatteraboo, that running back.
That coach is feisty.
Yep. Sam Levitt, I like that. Feisty. So Dillingham, no problem. I'm fine with taking Arizona State there. We're going to ride that as well. We need another NFL pick. We got 3 college, 2 NFL.
You don't want to take Villanova?
Villanova against Incarnate Ward's getting 12 points. I don't know anything about Villanova. Why is Incarnate Ward giving up 12 points?
Incarnate Word was where the snobby rich kids went in Cleveland. I'm like, is this the middle school that we?
Well, what is Villanova? Hold on, what is Villanova then? Villanova is the same thing, but with East Coast.
The first thing I asked him is Jay Wright coaching the football team. That's what I know about Villanova football.
If they're anything like Kyle Neptune coaching that team on the college basketball side of things, they're going to lose by a lot of points. But if you want to do another college game, I don't.
Yeah, give me one. Do you
I
have
don't.
another
They're
one?
already taking the Clemson game, so I don't. And I think Clemson will play well.
I mean, do we
root for SMU? Do you want to go opposite on that?
Hang on. You've been down at Penn State all year. Do we double down on how much of a phony Franklin is?
So the one thing I'll say to that is I like that because it's the opposite of what they do. So when they get a loss, we get a win. And I also think that Penn State doesn't need that game. Penn State probably is a home game regardless.
Listen, the Buckeyes are terrible, okay? They lost to Ohio State. Oregon's going to blow the doors off of this team, right? 3.5 neutral site.
I think Penn State stinks. I completely agree.
Colin, 3.5 neutral site, Dylan Gabriel, and the best wide receiver unit in the country at Oregon.
Penn State's going to want to slow it down. So if that game for some reason gets slowed down, that favors that spread. But I understand.
You think Drew Aller's going to score in that game?
No, he's going to slow it down.
Drew Aller, that kid, and listen, he's a Northeast Ohio native. He's one of my own. That kid could barely score against Minnesota, and PJ Flecken rode the boat.
It's a good defense, but I understand. Oregon minus 3.5. You want to do it?
Yeah, I'm in.
All right. Oregon minus 3.5.
And it's
Georgia
opposite.
plus 2.5.
They took Penn State.
Yeah, it's a loss for them, win for us if it's one way.
Big time.
Arizona State minus 1.5. Ohio State plus 2.
No, Ohio,
not Ohio State. What's our lock here? That's worth double points.
Well, you said you like that Arizona State game a lot. Let's go with that.
Their lock is that Miami Dolphin game. You want to do Arizona State as our lock?
Let's go with Arizona State.
The problem is, if we hit our lock, they still get points.
Okay,
all
right, then never mind.
You following what I'm saying?
I do. Rattle them off for me again.
We got the Cardinals minus 2.5. We got the Titans minus 3. Georgia plus 2.5. Oregon minus 3.5. Ohio plus 2. I would lean Cardinals.
You're high on that. At home, Kyler Murray. Let's go. Yeah, we'll go Cardinals. I'm down with that. Because you want to know what my answer to you was.
Because these are all conference championships. We got to go regular season game.
Let's go Cardinals because I would have picked Ohio.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I would have picked Ohio.
I wouldn't have let you do that. I wouldn't let you do that.
What do you mean? The mighty Bobcats, man. You know Mike Rizzo is a senior at Ohio University, was on the sideline for WOUB in my internship. And we lost to PJ Fleck and Corey Davis and rode the boat. It's the first time I was ever, covering a football game on the sideline. Pretty cool. It's Revenge Day, though. It's Revenge Day coming up at Ford Field.
But I was going to say, the first part of that story shows me nothing that Ohio's going to show up and compete in this game after they got absolutely throttled.
You're all about theme and
hold
mojo.
on. There's no theme.
Your co-host was on
what's
the field.
What's the theme?
Your co-host was on the field.
You tried to sell me on theme with the first battle of the bricks between Miami, Ohio, and Ohio. And Ohio didn't even show up.
Those snobby rich kids.
Oh, my God. Miami, Ohio absolutely throttled them. What was that score? 35-14?
Those snobby rich kids, we got it coming for them. Us rambunctious Ohio University types, we're coming for them.
Ugly.
Look out. Our bricks are better.
Cardinals minus 2.5 is our lock. That's our punchline picks. Blitzing the book presented by Hard Rock Bet. Try it now. Get up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not hit. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. Wager terms and conditions apply. Consider by gambling. Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. On the flip side of things, we'll take a quick break. We'll get into the NFL slate, what we expect, and more importantly, where our picks are going to be for all the conference champions this weekend. Whole lot to do, whole lot more to do. We got Fat Shack coming up in about 20 minutes as well. Should be a lot of fun. Stick around. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-731-4558 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-731-4558 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-731-4558 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Make poker playing hours work for you at Harrah's Pompano Beach Casino's no-limit hold'em. $1 million break the bank. Play at any qualifying table to garner 150 hours and qualify for January 29th Break the Bank tournament. Finish at number one for your shot to win $1 million. Play poker at Harrah's Pompano Beach Casino. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Powerline Road, Pompano Beach at the Pomp. Must be 18 or older for poker and simulcast. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
The Brad Ginsburg Family Foundation recognizes the needs of our local community, especially those who are impoverished or facing economic hardship, as well as those facing mental and/or physical challenges. The Brad Ginsburg Family Foundation is proud to be the official community voucher sponsor for the Boca Raton Bowl, December 18th at FAU Stadium. These vouchers go to local outreach organizations and programs, providing those less fortunate the opportunity to enjoy a fun night at the Boca Raton Bowl.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
Hey, it's your boy JC. Aaron Rodgers just went full mind game manipulation on his own team. See it all on today's brand new Questionable Call with Josh Cohen, exclusively on YouTube. Subscribe now. Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on YouTube.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees in the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 20 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and 2023 football, lacrosse, and men's swimming and diving titles. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Time now for a PNC pause. PNC Bank is committed to helping the customers and the communities they serve move forward financially. See how they can make a difference for you at PNC.com.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Theo here. EDS is yes. You've heard me say that over and over. So I need you to keep this website in mind too. EDSIsYes.com. For the most trusted AC specialist here in Palm Beach County, EDSIsYes.com. For 24/7 support, EDS is a trained comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. There are so many reasons why EDS is yes. When it comes to your air conditioning and plumbing, EDSIsYes.com. That's EDSIsYes.com.
Every Friday is a Fried Day on ESPN 106.3, served by Bud's Chicken and Seafood. Bud's uses better quality ingredients for better food and the best value. Visit any of Bud's Chicken and Seafood's 6 locations or go online now at budschicken.com.
Florida Atlantic women's basketball season is here. Join head coach Jennifer Sullivan and star guards Maya Perry and Jada Moore at Eleanor R. Baldwin Arena this year for big-time college basketball action. Groups of 15 or more get in free. Single game tickets tickets just $10. The van, the cheerleaders, the fun, the action, it's all there with Florida Atlantic Women's Basketball. Visit FAUsports.com for more information. Florida Atlantic Owls, winning in paradise.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Rolling on here, third hour of Russo and Rizzo on a Friday edition. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, of course, Damian Perez helping us out behind the glass. As always, it's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Packed weekend of football ahead with the conference championship week. Only a couple games with major implications, the most of notably being that ACC title game between Clemson and SMU. SMU, the committee sort of lit a fire under them by saying they're not necessarily protected if they lose that ACC championship game.
And I disagree with our very own Jonathan Zaslow. I think if they lose that game, they're out.
Lose straight up.
Personally, I think
straight
they're
up.
out.
They lose by 3 points.
2 losses. I don't think the committee cares who the hell complains. We saw that last year at Florida State. I think strength of win, Colin, is what they're going this year. And they don't have a strength of win if they lose that game.
I mean,
or it's a bad way to put it. They don't have a good win. How about that if they lose that game?
Yeah, they throttled most of the bad part of the ACC.
You can even argue Clemson's not even a good win at this point, and they're lucky to be there because Miami lost to Syracuse.
Clemson's solid because Clemson, think about it for a second. If Clemson doesn't schedule Georgia in the beginning of the year, they're probably locked into the playoff.
Right. And I think if they were to – now, listen, I know they got the doors blown off them, and I buried Dabo early on this year. I think if they were to replay Georgia, that game's closer. Would you agree? Right now?
Yeah, who knows?
They
But
probably score.
yeah.
I mean, Colin, they probably score a touchdown. I guess it's the point I'm trying to make.
I agree with that. So, but from a perspective, it's if they didn't schedule, that's what I have a problem with. Strength of losses or strength of win, you're decentivizing Clemson scheduling a team like South Carolina, or not South Carolina, or even South Carolina, or Georgia in the beginning of the year because they lose that game, and all of a sudden you're on the outside looking in. And that is my problem with that. When Miami, on the other hand, or teams that play their 5 tune-up games and then just play their conference, they're the beneficiaries. And Penn State's another one of them.
I think they're forcing teams like SMU, Clemson, Miami to hate their conference. And even vice versa in the Big 12. Now, the Big 12 are a bunch of phonies. I mean, let's call it for what it is. Two lost teams are going to be doing battle. And I understand the SEC, nonetheless, has a lot of 2-loss teams. But you get my point. They're making some of these teams who aren't getting the benefit of the doubt, that aren't in the Big Ten and the SEC, have animosity, I think, towards their conference. Go, why should we stay here? If we're not going to get the benefit of the doubt in a 12-team playoff, wasn't that a whole selling point, Colin, on the 12-team playoff? Was that they were going to have more teams than just the SEC?
Well, they are. That's the benefit of the automatic bid. Now, there's 2 levels to that. Why would we stay here and go elsewhere? There's no guarantee that you're going to go elsewhere and succeed because the level is so drastic. So there's that. But to the point of they have their opportunity, they just got to win that conference championship game, which is why in a lot of ways, instead of the SEC and Big Ten, those games don't matter that much comparatively in terms of implication. It's the ACC and the Big 12 are the games that you'll be interested in this weekend.
Yeah, and we're about to say, Arizona State and Iowa State, 2 teams that were not on my bingo card in that Big 12. If you remember before the year, let's rewind. I was waxing poetically about Kansas State. I was waxing poetically about Mike Gundy and Ollie Gordon and Alan Bowman of that Oklahoma State offense. They went 0-9 in the conference.
People were high on Utah. People were high on Colorado.
Colin, 0-9 in the conference. The team was getting tickets to win the Big 12. They didn't even win a game. So that's where the Big 12 is at right now.
And they beat Arkansas. How's that?
And Colorado, the biggest one. Oh, my God.
Arkansas beat Tennessee, but Oklahoma State, who's winless in the Big 12, beat Arkansas.
Look, I know listen, if you're looking at it as program standards for Colorado, 3 years ago now, they didn't win a game. 2 years ago, Deion won 3 games. And now this year, they've won 9. But at the same time, you can't if you beat Kansas, you're in this game. Come on. You got to beat Kansas. If you're a prime standards, if I'm going to hold Colorado to the standards that they want to be held at, you got to beat Kansas, right? Make Nebraska competitive.
I think to Colorado's credit, in terms of a turnaround, pretty picturesque. But I think because of the Colorado's brand and the amount of recognition they get, people hold them probably to a higher standard than maybe they're deserving of.
Last thing, and maybe I'm picking on them, but don't lose to Kansas State, who didn't win a big game all year at home.
Now, to play devil's advocate, Arizona State had a great year. They beat Kansas. They beat Kansas State. They beat BYU. Arizona State is deserving of that spot. So to their credit, I give Arizona State all the credit in the world, and they played an SEC team earlier in the year.
Colin, you would have told me that. If you would have told me Arizona State before the year, I would have been kiki and ha-ha.
But that's kind of the beauty. That's kind of the beauty of it. So I give them credit for actually making that work and giving themselves an opportunity to make the playoff. That's fine with me. But the way I look at it is if you want these big conferences to kind of crisscross a la college basketball, where they have big-time out-of-conference games on the early onset of the year, like, of course, those Clemson-Georgia games we had every year and Notre Dame playing A&M, how are you going to incentivize schools to do that? Because from a financial perspective, there's some argument in a home-and-home. But ultimately, if they lose that game, they're losing themselves an opportunity to get a home game in the playoff or even to get a bid at that. How do you incentivize something like that?
Two things on that. Number one, I totally agree with you. I think that the College Football Playoff Committee is looking at the ACC, is looking at the Big 12 and going, start scheduling some Big 10 teams, start scheduling some SEC teams.
But to that point, that's what Clemson did, and then Clemson's getting burned.
And here's the problem, though. The SEC will never do a home and a home. You know what? Or excuse me, what is it? A home and away. I'm sorry. They'll never want to go north and play in the freezing cold.
I mean, Alabama did against Wisconsin to their credit, but I understand his point.
I think the committee is saying start scheduling. I know these schedules are figured out years in advance. All right. But maybe schedule some Big Ten and SEC teams, strengthen up that strength of schedule, prove to us that you are better than the Big Ten and better than the SEC. Who is it? Cam Ward was waxing poetically about the ACC?
Yeah, they're stupid.
That was really dumb. But at the same time, if the ACC, say if SMU wins and they go all the way to the college football finale, which I wouldn't put your money on it, maybe you start seeing a little more respect than the ACC.
The way I look, I think they've given ACC enough of their flowers because there's three teams that are sort of in the mix, whether that be Miami, Clemson, or SMU.
We agree Miami's out, right?
Miami's out. They're outside looking in.
Okay.
But this is now a situation where you're either going to have SMU, Alabama, and Clemson fighting for two spots. And it's a matter of if Clemson wins, where do you put SMU and Alabama? Mm-hmm. If SMU wins, Alabama's in. So the question lies, Alabama is probably rooting for SMU in that game just so they could get a confirmed spot, and because there's a little bit of a question of whether they'd get a bid if SMU were to lose. So my problem, though, we talked about it earlier in the week, is SMU should not get punished for playing the extra game. And that is a very dangerous precedent you are trying to set by doing that because they're playing an extra game. You're decentivizing them even showing up in the conference championship game. That's what you're doing. And they care about those conference championship games because the TV contracts pay a whole lot of money for it. It's at a neutral field that goes directly to the conference. There's a lot of money that goes into that game, and you want to make it feel big. That's part of the reason why you gave them the automatic bye when you win that game. So off of that, I would have a problem if they were to burn SMU there just in favor of an Alabama team that is one of the worst Alabama teams we have seen in recent memory. It's not like this Alabama team, it was dealt a bad hand and, they had a gauntlet of a schedule and they got burned. That was Georgia. Alabama lost to Oklahoma and Vanderbilt. So you lose to those two schools, I understand, on the road.
Hang on, who is the third? I always forget the third.
Who, Alabama?
Yeah.
They lost to Tennessee.
That's it.
So they lost to Tennessee, fine. But you lose two iffy games. Why should we sympathize with that? Why are we sympathizing with that?
Because they're Alabama. That's why.
They're trying to sell with the five. They're trying to sell the 5-12.
And also their justification is going to be we gave them the benefit of the doubt last year, and it was the best college football game that we've seen in a long time between Michigan and Alabama. And also, Colin,
it was a good game. It was not an all-time game. It was a good game.
Kyle, they have the Georgia crutch. And I know you hate the what ifs. What would have happened if Georgia would have lost that game in 8 overtimes?
Well, the goal of Georgia going into the season was they had to. Oh, you mean lose the Georgia Tech game? Yeah, it would be out.
Exactly. So what's precedent are we setting here? I understand
Well,
strength.
you got to win the game.
Strength of win. Strength of win. It goes back to what we've been saying. The committee doesn't care. They want to see you beat good teams. And that Alabama win against Georgia apparently is hanging them on by a thread. And as we know, they travel well. And that game against Notre Dame is going to get insane reviews. Colin, if they do play Notre Dame at South Bend,
it's going to get a lot of buzz.
What's that? You're my viewership guy. What's that viewership going to be at South Bend?
Here's the way I look at it. There's four time slots. There's the early day game on Saturday. There's the middle of the day game. There's the night game. And I don't know the TV contract's part of it. And then there's a Friday night game. Friday night game is going to be the worst of the bunch. So whatever game, if there's an SMU in the mix, whatever game Arizona State plays will be that Friday game. Alabama, the best game slot will probably be that 8 o'clock on Saturday night.
So, partner, tonight's games.
They might put Alabama and Notre Dame in that 8 o'clock slot.
Tonight's games, UNLV and Boise, and then Tulane and Army.
They would probably put I'm talking about in the college football playoff first round.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. You're talking about where you put them in terms of viewership. You have the 3 games on Saturday, the 21st of December, and you have 1 game on Friday, the 20th. If I were to guess, if you had the matchups you have right now, and you have the Tennessee's, who's Tennessee? Is it playing at Ohio State? Is that what they had slated?
Yeah, it would be Tennessee at Ohio State right now.
I would say that would be the 4 o'clock slate. I would say that the Alabama-Notre Dame game would be the night game. I would say whatever team plays Arizona State would be the early game. And let's say that's who would be that 6? Penn State?
Yeah, possibly.
Penn State.
Possibly.
So, and then whoever Georgia plays would be that early game. That would be how I would do. Because you're right. That game would do 15, 16, 17 million.
Incredible.
Well, on the flip side of things, we got to get the expert's opinion about our punchline picks of the week. Somebody who knows what he's doing, actually. It's Fat Jack at fatjacksports.com. We'll see the trends, where the money is, and where to put our money this week in terms of the gambling side of things. But in the meantime, I got to tell you about our pals over at Flagstick Golf Performance. I am somebody who is not a golfer, who has not been good at it my whole life, but now I'm finally making an effort to improving my game, and so I can finally compete with the likes of people in my family and people in the area, of course, in the Palm Beach County, with 1,000 golf courses, and everybody's great at golf, and I need to catch up. And where do I go to when I need to get better and so I can catch up is Flagstick Golf Performance. It's the ultimate indoor golf experience. It's now open in Boynton Beach. It's a unique facility. It has 3 state-of-the-art indoor simulators. It has a state-of-the-art putting studio as well. Even if you want to get your fitted, you want to get something shaped, you want to get a different head on your clubs, you want to get it re-gripped, Flagstick's got you covered. They have a tour-inspired bill shop, too. Andy and the team work closely with players of all levels who want to improve their game. So if you want to get actual lessons, they're PGA professionals. That's where you go. Flagstick Golf Performance. It's the optimal environment to leverage technology, all the data insights you can imagine. I get 100, 150 shots with my 2 wedges I have in my trunk, and I'm starting to work out the kinks in my swing. Go visit them in person. Find out all the info you need at flagstickgolfperformance.com. Let's hear from Fat Jack at fatjacksports.com. Next, it's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Palm Beach County's premier college football event is back. Don't miss the 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, Wednesday, December 18th from FAU Stadium and broadcast live on ESPN. Last year's game saw in-state Rising Power USF beat Syracuse out of the ACC. What will this year's game have in store? Big names, big teams, big action. The 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, December 18th at FAU Stadium on ESPN. Don't miss out. Find out more at BocaRatonBowl.com.
Hey, golf fans, Colin Russo here. Looking to improve your game? Flagstick Golf Performance, the ultimate indoor golf experience, is now open in Boynton Beach. With 3 indoor simulators and a state-of-the-art putting studio, Flagstick helps players at all levels up their game. Get lessons from experts, try the latest clubs, or just come up for a round in the simulators. You can track your stats and see real improvement. Flagstick is where serious golfers and beginners find their edge. Bring your friends or family and enjoy golf like never before. Visit flagstickgolfperformance.com to book your session.
PNC Bank is committed to making a difference in the lives of the customers and communities they serve by helping them move forward financially. As a Main Street bank, PNC is always working to make it easier for their customers to achieve their goals and plan for the future, whether that's through innovative digital solutions or in person. PNC is proud to be part of the South Florida community. See how PNC Bank can make a difference for you at pnc.com/tech. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-FREE. Listen, if you're in an accident, car accident, truck accident, slip and fall, trip and fall, injured on the job, workers' comp issues, call Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. They will fight for you. They do not get paid unless you get paid, and they will fight to get you the maximum compensation that you know that you deserve. Do not deal with the insurance companies on your own. That's impossible. They make it as such. And John Levine will help you to take back control of your life. Again, you'll always talk about your case with an actual attorney. They answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help you to take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Call Anajar and Levine, my accident attorneys. Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. Take back control of your life.
Make poker playing hours work for you at Harrah's Pompano Beach Casinos. No limit hold'em. $1 million break the bank. Play at any qualifying table to garner 150 hours and qualify for January 29th Break the Bank tournament. Finish at number one for your shot to win $1 million. Play poker at Harrah's Pompano Beach Casino. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Powerline Road, Pompano Beach at the Pomp. Must be 18 or older for poker and simulcast. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Theo here. EDS is yes. You've heard me say that over and over. So I need you to keep this website in mind too. EDSIsYes.com. For the most trusted AC specialist here in Palm Beach County, EDSIsYes.com. For 24/7 support, EDS is a trained comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. There are so many reasons why EDS is yes when it comes to your air conditioning and plumbing. EDSIsYes.com. That's EDSIsYes.com.
Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Friday, December 6th on Russo and Rizzo. Mike Rizzo, Colin Rizzo, Damian Perez, of course, behind the glass as always. Having a great time here at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. You got high school game day going on tonight. West Boca in the state semis. That's a 7 p.m. kick. Coverage begins at 6. I will be there, so stay tuned for that after the program a little later today. But in the meantime, let's bring in the expert. We made our punchline picks of the week. We have our picks. Let's bring in somebody who knows what he's talking about. It's Fat Jack of FatJackSports.com. Fat Jack, been a while. What's going on, brother?
Thanksgiving's over. Is West Boca favored and underdog tonight?
Well,
I don't even know if I'm allowed to comment on that.
We are not contractually obligated to talk on that.
Dude, I've been doing this 27 years. When my kids were in 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, all the way up through high school and college, I was setting lines both on the Fat Jack Sports Hour and with the other parents of the 5th grade games. We'd be a 29-point underdogs, total of 30.
Hold on. So you'd be hold on. There's got to be a couple felonies in there. You were the bookie for a youth football game.
I'm not trying to bet on West Boca. I'm just asking whether they're favored or not.
No, I'm talking about your kids' football games. You'd be collecting. You'd be the house.
Fat Jack.
You'd be the house.
5th grade football is the pure degeneracy of gambling, partner.
Come on.
You don't have to gamble on it to set a line.
That's a
setting
problem.
Lines make games
setting a line.
make games more interesting. And matter of fact, there's a guy in West Palm, a parent whose kid, my son plays at the University of Chicago, and his son was also, and he was on the team as well. And every game before, and I forget the dude's name, Steve will know.
Maybe we'll.
And he would come up and ask me, what's the line? And then every week we would talk about the University of Chicago lines that you couldn't bet on. But it always makes things more interesting when you have a number attached.
Covering some bases.
Will tell you.
All right.
What's that? Yeah. I mean, you got to have. Listen, if you're going to go watch a high school football game, it's nice to know who's favored. That's all I'm saying. So you should figure that out and enjoy yourself. Hopefully they win because that's in the area there. My clients, we were 16-8 in player props last week. Soccer, 9-1 run over the last 7 days, including a 3-1 tie, and we're 3-0 this week. Those extra sports that a lot of guys don't get because they just, for whatever reason, don't. They are making so much extra money right now. You can add those for like $20 a week. It's not expensive to add those to your football basketball package. Football basketball win about 4 out of every 5 weeks this year, which is about average for us. They're not all 10-1s, although we did go through in October and early November a lot of those 9-2, 10-1 type weeks in football. Basketball 2-0 yesterday, 2-1 the day before, up 4 games this week so far. So everything's posted and documented. Go to FatJackSports.com. We lost last weekend. In football, I had teams like Atlanta. Kirk Cousins lost his mind. I'm convinced he and his wife were fighting at Thanksgiving.
What a mess.
I mean, so it's pick six, 2 others in the end zone. They miss a field goal. They have a botched fake. I mean, just everything. And they still only lost by 4. I mean, that team all the way to the end. They outgained the Chargers by 250 yards. I mean, they literally owned the game and didn't win. So had a few of those last week. Those happened. Those even out over the course of the season. No big deal. We move on to this.
That's part of the. You know what? I think that's an interesting pick this week is the Falcons plus 5.5 or 6 or whatever it is, because I think Cousins has a knack to really bounce back. I could see them playing well this week against Minnesota, but that's neither here nor there. Fat Check, let's start in the early part of the week. We got college football on the conference championship side coming up on Saturday. Before we get to that, actually, where are you right now? Are you in West Palm?
No, I mean, if I was in West Palm, I'd be down at the studio waiting to get off the air and go to dinner or something. No,
we're just making sure. I'm starting to not believe you.
Fat Jack, honest to God, Fat Jack, I'm going to call it. You're dodging us. You're dodging me, Fat Jack. You're dodging Colin and I.
There are people listening right now that know. I was in West Palm before you. You were like in middle school when I started West Palm.
Well,
literally, I've been in the West Palm area
but now you've left the city forever. So where the hell have you been?
I spent $4 million in Newport Beach. I'm out here taking care of business, and it's closer to Vegas, which I do a TV show that runs in West Palm called Beat the Odds. You can watch it on the local station there, but it runs nationally. I have to be in Vegas every Thursday during football. But after that, I'm coming down there. Right after the holidays, I'm down there. This will be the first time I missed the Boca Bowl. Actually, the second time I missed the Boca Bowl.
Yeah, because we're down here now.
Yeah, it's only because you owe us something. You owe us something, and you're dodging it. You're dodging to pay the debt.
And can I say something?
Exactly what it is.
You want to know where this all started from? The Mid-American Conference. Hey, Fat Jack, you there? We're going back to the MAC, baby. Give me my.
You got to take this one. Unfortunately, I'm not on it either, but you got to take it.
How about this, Fat Jack? My alma mater. You guys all said how bad Ohio was. Oh, they're done. They screwed us over against Miami. Well, guess what? They're winning us our money back. Ford Field, Fat Jack. Rewind to 2016, a young Mike Rizzo, an intern at WOUB, on the field against PJ Fleck and row the boat. Fast forward, 8 years later, I'm doing radio in West Palm. They're back in the game. We're taking the Ohio Bobcats plus 2.5. They're playing those awful you-know-whats from Miami of Ohio. Guess what? Our bricks are better this second time around. I don't give a damn what happened in that first game. We are taking Miami plus 2. Fat Jack, it's Ohio's day.
How could this segment possibly be sponsored by me? That is the most ridiculous. I would never have talked about any of that ever.
It is Ohio's
That's why you have
day.
us. Fun. That's why you have us.
It is old Ohio's day, Fat Jack.
I'm excited for it. I'm sure it's going to be freezing cold. They played this game in Detroit,
in Ford Field. It's in Ford Field.
Fat Jack, listen, I don't want to rant. This is probably bad omen, but I'll take a page out of your book. We are 12-2. In our last 14 picks, we're 51-39 in the year. You might have to go with us on this one.
Well, you know what? They pay you money for these things, and sports gambling is legal in Florida.
Disclaimer: you're the professional. You're the professional. We are not.
Fat Jack, listen. You've made a great career, multi-million-dollar career off. Colin and I believe in theme, magic, and mojo. There is some magic and mojo with that Ohio team, brother. There is some magic and mojo with that Ohio team, brother. Get on the bandwagon.
I like the fact that you're playing an underdog in these games because I think what you get added pressure in these games. You don't always get a lot of upsets, but you get some close games. The numbers are normally pretty tight. Tonight's Boise UNLV game is a great example of that. You have two teams. When all these kids went to both of these schools, And they had no idea that they had an opportunity to actually make history. If you win this game between Boise and UNLV, you're one of the first 12 teams to play in the playoff. The whole world is going to be watching you, at least American football fans. It's a huge deal. If you lose this game, you go to the Los Angeles Bowl sponsored by Gronk, and you get to watch him crush beer cans on his head for 3 days. I've never seen more variance in a game as far as what's going on tonight. Added pressure for Boise. They're supposed to get there. They got the good running back everybody knows about. Look underdog at a few of these games where you have teams, none of them are familiar with this environment. One's playing with house money. One's expected to get it done. UNLV plus the points tonight. That's an easy one also, I think.
All right. It's an interesting one. We took Georgia and Oregon. Georgia plus 2.5 and Oregon minus 3.5. Do you have any thoughts on those two picks?
Yeah, so the problem with Georgia is, and I don't mean this is not offense to you because I like Georgia also. I feel like a $50 idiot when I say it. How are they getting points against a team who doesn't have any good wins? They beat Michigan and nobody else. They've already played this year. They played in Austin. It wasn't like the Georgia-Alabama game where Georgia turned the ball over 67 times and still almost won. You say, well, they won't do that again. Georgia went in, won the line of scrimmage. Their defensive back shut down Texas's passing game to the point they made a change at quarterback during the game. Still didn't work. Now they're getting 3 points. I understand Carson Beck's underachieved. But I still think there's enough of the pieces in Georgia. And by the way, Georgia's an underdog. This is the second time only they've been an underdog since they won the championship back in 2021. And by the way, they won both of them straight up. This team never gets points. They always win. I like Georgia as well, but it makes me uncomfortable. Vegas likes Texas. Vegas thinks Texas wins this thing going away. Because they also have TV set. They know that Georgia went into Austin and won. They know that Texas has no wins. But I'm hoping this is one of those games after the fact. Everybody looks up and like, what are we doing? We already watched Georgia beat Texas. We need to see it twice. So why did we bet a lot of money on it? See, I'm with you. I like Georgia in that one. The other one, the line would bother me as much as anything. Why is that number not 5 or 6? Everybody knows about James Franklin.
He's a phony.
Everybody knows that he does.
He's a phony, Fat Jack.
Everybody knows that, and that's the point. This dude is 1-14 straight up his last 15 versus the top 10. Everybody knows that. He's lost 13 straight pre-bowl games against top 10 opponents. Everybody knows that. Why is this game not 5 or 6? It's not, because their defense is the real deal. They match up pretty well against that Oregon offense, and I think that the line setters believe that Penn State will keep scoring down. They'll get enough stops to stay in the game, make some field goals, put that added pressure back on Georgia. On Oregon. Maybe not win the game, but cover. I think you might be on the wrong side of that one, but believe me, history, it's hard for me to jump on and do anything with James Franklin, but that line bothers me a lot. That number should have come out
First
5
off,
or 6.
Yeah, Fat Jack, a couple thoughts on that. They don't even belong in the game. Okay, if Ryan Day and the Buckeyes get the job done like they should have, if you could tell I'm a really upset Ohio State fan, they'd be in that game, and Penn State would be on the outside looking in as a 5 or a 6 going into the playoff. There's no way you could take Franklin in a big game. Who's going to score for them? Drew Aller? Fat Jack, Drew Aller?
Why are we not mortgaging our house and betting everything on Oregon then?
We are.
You're the one who's not.
You're the one who's not.
That's a horrible idea. I'll tell you right. We'll talk about it next week. They're giving money away.
No.
If Oregon wins this, they're going to have 85 to 90% of the money. Who's betting Penn State? Everybody's going to bet Oregon. Vegas, these casinos are not in the business of being being exposed on one side of a college game to the
Fat Jack, they're going to get hashtag. They're going to get hashtag Drew Allard. We got something coming for Vegas this weekend between that game. Trust me, they don't belong. They don't belong. And is Frankel going to wear those shades inside? Give me a break.
Those casinos are built on games exactly like. That's all I'm saying. They're not always right, but they're built on games like this when you cannot find any reason in the world to bet one side, and everybody likes the other side. Most of the time, Vegas is right and we're wrong. That's all I'm telling you.
So okay, no, I hear you. I hear you, Fat Check. So you're basically saying be wary of taking Georgia, be wary of taking Oregon. Vegas knows something.
That's right. They're in the if they're lopsided 80-90% of the money on any of these games, they're comfortable there. They would move the number. Why this game didn't go from 3.5 to 5.5?
Fat Jack, sorry for freaking out, but this is we're going Ocean's 11. Then we're blowing up the casinos, baby. We're gonna take them for everything. We're gonna take them for everything this weekend with those two games, brother. You heard it here.
I'm excited to watch because a lot of people will, and because Sunday's card leaves a little bit to watching. Imagine, there's not a ton of great games on Sunday to watch, but there are a lot of good spots to make money. I would caution people of this. Last week, another kind of public weekend for the players. They've had a few more of those this year than normal. In fact, October, guys, the first month in 4 years that parlays lost money for the state of Nevada in October. It's been 4 years since parlays won money this last October. And those are done by money line parlays in the NFL, more favorites than not getting there against the number on certain weekends where they're all doing that. And we saw that early a couple times in October. We saw it last week as well. A lot of favorites getting there for the general public. Don't expect that to continue as we head into the holiday season. You're going to need to be a little uncomfortable to make some money as we head forward. Betting teams like the Jameis Winston experience. I love the dude. He's worth the price of admission. Apparently he went and he's asked God to get rid of the pick sixes. I'm not sure God is Santa Claus, so I guess we're going to find out because you're going to have to bet on teams like Cleveland, like Las Vegas, Seattle on the road, New Orleans, or to the Giants, the Jets, teams like that are really difficult to bet on. Similar to last night, by the way. Detroit, that buzzsaw has been covered against everybody, 9-3 going into last night. They don't get it done against the number. Green Bay takes the money. There's going to be more of that this week and next week, so be careful just playing the better team.
Good insight as always, Fat Jack. We took the Cardinals -2.5, actually, because I think the Cardinals, it's going to be hard to lose that team twice. They need the game. They're a little desperate, 6-6, coming off 2 bad losses. They're good at home. That was my more philosophy, but I understand if the public's making money here, Vegas is going to respond. So I don't think Arizona also is one of those. There's still seats on the bandwagon there. People are not buying what they're selling, so I think that's fine. Those type of favorites are fine because you don't have one-sided action. I mean, you're going to get some Seattle money. You also get Arizona money. So those are not the games. But teams like, basically Buffalo against anybody except the Rams. Actually, the Rams are a good value. There's a horrible spot for Buffalo. And teams like Baltimore, when they come back, Detroit, generally speaking, those type teams, more times than not, the top-tier teams will not cover as much going forward in December as they get the win but not the money more times than not. So,
Fat Jack, the last thing for me, trust me on Oregon. Do you trust me? Trust me on Oregon. Trust the Midwest kid who's watched Big Ten football his whole life. That fraud Franklin doesn't stand a chance on Saturday.
I'm not sure that Oregon knows their Big Ten yet. I mean, I feel better.
Oh, they
with
do. They're in that
action.
game. Trust me, Dan Lanning said after he beat Ohio State that's Big Ten football. He's bought in, brother.
This sounds like somebody that's wife cheated on him, and then they go out with another guy, and we say that guy is ugly and he's poor and he's awful. You're mad because Ohio State didn't win, I think, as much.
No, Fat Jack, you
You
cannot look at me with a straight face and say you trust James Franklin to cover 3.5 against
fascinating
Oregon.
analogy.
Yeah, that is kind of. That's not where I thought you were going with that, partner. You had Michigan. Hang on. Let's backtrack. You had Michigan, right? I mean, everyone had Michigan.
Neither side.
Okay, you left it alone. Smart man.
No, I didn't have either side. That I had other games on Saturday. So, all right, well, I'm excited about it. FatJackSports.com. $49 get you 4 football, 4 basketball, 9 prop bets this weekend. That's the sample platter. It's not the whole card. You're not going to get everything we're playing, but you will get money. You'll be in the profit. You sign up for that. $49 at FatJackSports.com. Plays are automatically sent to you. You don't have to talk to anybody. There's no upselling, nothing like that. Go check out the site. Check the results out if you're out there listening. Get signed up. Start adding consistent winning plays to your selections, and you'll see investing a little bit of money each week is better than losing on your own. So FatJackSports.com, $49 this weekend, or less than $99 when you sign up through the Super Bowl or beyond.
Great job as always, Fat Jack. A little feisty today, a little back and forth. I had a lot of fun as always. Looking forward to talking next week.
He's a friend. I can't have a bet on James Franklin.
I love it. Listen, we have something to talk about next week too. So it's great. It's a win.
Take Ohio.
Take Ohio and take Oregon.
I've asterisked both of them, guys. Have a great week. I'll see you soon.
All right,
brother.
That's Fat Jack at FatJackSports.com. Go check it out. You want to get your insight into the scoops and what pick to take, what trends to follow. He knows it more above all. We'll take a quick break and close it out, send you off into the weekend. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
ESPN 106.3 is presented by Rubenstein Law. 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Car accident, truck accident, Uber or Lyft accident, or a slip and fall. Call Rubenstein Law. Call 1-800-FL-LEGAL and visit one of our offices throughout Florida.
Banyan Printing and Signs wishes you a happy and healthy holiday season. Thank you for making Banyan your trusted printing, mailing, and signage partner in the Palm Beaches for over 47 years. From A-frames to yard signs, business cards to booklets, and much more, plus a big announcement coming in 2025. Get started at banyanonline.com or by calling 561-586-6220. Happy holidays from Banyan Printing and Signs, the official printing partner of ESPN West Palm and Kaiser Athletics.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GARAGE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GARAGE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GARAGE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey, it's your boy JC. Aaron Rodgers just went full mind game manipulation on his own team. See it all on today's brand new Questionable Call with Josh Cohen, exclusively on YouTube. Subscribe now. Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on YouTube.
She ain't gonna tie me down while you on the road. Got it on the shirt, saw the hat, saw the clothes. What you want right now?
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Closing out the program here on a Friday edition of Russo and Rizzo. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Damian Perez behind the glass. Damian, you've heard us with Fat Jack a number of times now. I thought Fat Jack was a lot of fun there.
He always is.
He's a good time. He's a good
Never
time.
disappoints.
I can't have a friend bet on James Franklin. You can call me, and C-Cat's going to have an amazing time with me, by the way, when he comes back on Monday. But you cannot let a friend bet on James Franklin in a big game, right? Friends, watch out for each other.
Well, speaking of friends, Christian Cat and Theo Dorsey are actually taking Penn State in that one against Oregon plus 3.5.
Listen, there are great friends here and teammates. We love them to death, but they're not our friends for the segment. We compete against each other, so technically we're rivals. So let them make a mistake. Let them make, listen, I understand C-Cat. He went to Penn State, and he's taking his team. Listen, fair play to you. You're going to lose money, though.
You're really off it now. You were on Penn State earlier in the year. Now we're off the wave.
I'm in shambles. All right. I'm in shambles with the Buckeyes. I don't even want to see Ohio State in the playoff
It's
anymore.
important for you to see.
I'm just done. I'm
the
done
team that Oregon probably. I mean, you beat Ohio. If you're Ohio State, you beat Penn State. You lost to Oregon. You just want to see Ohio State be established as closer to Oregon than to Penn State. So
can I be completely transparent with you, Colin? I am a true pros pro. I watch all the games. I can't. To be honest, Damian. Internationally, Colin, I can't even stomach college football. I get pissed off talking about it. That's how it's where I'm at right now as a Buckeye fan.
If Ohio State,
it churns my stomach talking college football.
If they would have won a national championship, would it still have meant the same as if they would have beat Michigan?
I mean, let's be honest. If Ohio State wins,
if they win the title, too.
I mean, come on. I'm going to be doing backflips on Rosemary here. Okay, but they're not winning anything. Did you see that team that showed up against Michigan? That's the worst Michigan team I've seen in 30 years. So I'm watching college football to be a professional, to be up to date, so Colin and I could do a great show. If it were up to me, I'd be playing Nazi zombies tonight, okay, on Call of Duty. There's a new map. Damien, you play Call of Duty?
Oh, yeah.
There's a new map out, all right? And it's a castle, a whole 9 yards. You get swords. It looks amazing. Instead, I got to watch college football because I'm a pros pro. Something I can't stomach right now because my team pooped the sheets, pooped all over themselves against one of the worst football teams I've seen in 30 years.
I actually think Ohio State's going to show up in a big way in the postseason.
You're trolling me.
I do.
You're trolling me.
I do. I mean, comparatively to who?
They gave up. Colin, they gave up.
Hold on. Every other school has their flaws, has had bad losses. Ohio State's not the only one.
But this is different. I know you don't care about the rivalry, brother, but this is different. You lost to Michigan. The season's over. Those kids quit already. There are
So
kids
the
in the
season's
transfer
over
portal.
hold on. What if they win the title?
They're not going to win the title. That's what I'm trying to explain.
Are they
to you
going to
guys.
win? So
If they win,
I cannot wait. I cannot wait until 3 weeks from now. See, this happens every time. I cannot wait till 3 weeks from now when Mike Rizzo is saying when Ohio State is favored by 9.5 points against Arizona State, and Mike Rizzo is saying we're going to make a run, or they win their first game against Tennessee at home. Mike Rizzo is going to be saying that Ohio State's going all the way and the whole thing. I think Ohio State has a good defense, and defense is going to travel in a big spot. They're going to be motivated. They got to have a bad loss out of the way. That team is going to be dangerous in the postseason. Whether they're going to win or not is another question.
You don't lose to Michigan and go on a run. It's that simple. The season's over. You lost to Michigan. That team quit, as far as I know.
I don't know about that.
I feel like that can be the motivation.
I guess. Whatever. It's
Get
on
it out of
Dave.
your system.
Listen, talk about someone's
See,
job
this is
you
why,
don't want.
Mark it in your head. Mike Rizzo being this pessimistic about it because he's been back and forth all year about it. They were going to lose by 10 to Penn State. Then they were going to kill everybody else.
Well, they lost it, but the Oregon loss was embarrassing as well with that fifth-year senior.
Was it?
With how it happened? We've been the laughing-stock 2 times this year.
Hold on.
We've been the
Lost by
laughing-stock.
1 point at Oregon.
Dude
to the
forgot
number one team in the country.
Colin, the way it happened, I know we're running out of time. Dude forgot to score in the time, and then the second time around, you lost to the worst Michigan team in 30 years.
All right, stop complaining. All right. Russo and Rizzo on a Friday here. Sending you off into the weekend. Enjoy it. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay focused. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen. When you need auto repair, honesty and reliability are everything. Trust the home